Welcome to another edition of the Sports Board. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port here at the Horseshoe Cafe, Southport, Connecticut. Barnes, Tony, Michael, Jeff behind the bar, Matthew on the way. How's everyone doing this evening?
I'm doing great, dude. Totally stoked to be here. Obviously, Horseshoe, it's freaking go. Greatest place on earth. Football week 9. Let's go. Hockey. So much to do, so much to talk about. Stoked to have everyone here.
Yeah, stoked to have everyone here. And see, we already got a bunch of comments, so love that everybody's with us. And I'm sure the TCA is riled that we just put the finishing touches on a backdoor cover as the Eagles don't get it done, Josh B. The Jags with that late touchdown, the difference in the game. So we'll take it. We hit on our only pick of the day so far, and then have the Vikings and then the Chiefs tomorrow night. So it should be an interesting stretch here.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe the TCA with the 1 and 2 spot.
Classic
so the
TCA.
Struggling lights continue to be on. Michael, I believe we have a bunch of comments.
You are correct. We have Michael Buckta saying, "Hey Barnes, can I buy you a nice, glorious beach house in Newport Beach so that way you can live there and I can come visit you once a year?"
I mean, Michael, by all means, go ahead.
I mean, write the
That'd be
check.
great, right?
Right, yeah.
Cut it right now.
Go.
Come on.
Go. Up.
Come on.
We would be living that life and I would bring the whole crew with me.
You already know.
It's nice of Michael to say.
That is. Yo, what up, fam? Hashtag TCA, hashtag Sportsport, hashtag DTV. Can you guess who that is?
Josh B.
Very good.
Best
Then we
in the
have
business.
someone saying, "Let's go. We want the smoke. Happy Sunday, boys." Who's that?
Kev Do.
Kev Do.
Very good, boys. You guys are on top of it tonight
know
on
our
this
fans.
Sunday night.
We know.
All right, this next
know
one might
the
be a little
fans.
tricky, though, okay? Hi, guys. Can we just pay the best netminder on the planet already? Question mark. LGR.
Tommy.
Are you guys looking?
Buddy.
Because you guys are too good.
We don't need to look.
Don't
we
need
already
to look.
know.
I
And
don't
we
want to
know
look, dude.
Igor is a Ranger for life, and I want somebody to dispute me on that.
No, absolutely.
Right? Or no?
No, you're absolutely right, dude.
No, he
one-
wants
one's-
someone to dispute him, Tony.
Michael,
one's-
I can
no
see
one's-
Michael giving me an alternate theory here, please.
I mean, he's not going anywhere. Dude.
No, I don't know.
All
He's
right,
good. He's
all right.
staying.
It
He's
just
staying.
seemed like something maybe you could take somewhere. I don't know.
But then again, someone said about one quist. But then again,
Yeah.
he gets the offer by Washington, takes it, but never plays a game.
Right. So I'm saying that doesn't count. I'm
Does
sorry.
not
No,
count.
it doesn't count
I mean, technically it doesn't count. Never played a game there, but he was on the roster.
on the roster. No, I get it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't count. What else we got?
Pay that man. He's money. Who's that?
That would be Josh B.
You guys are looking.
I don't know.
I could just see your eyes. You guys
Who
are
was it?
looking.
Guess. Who was it
Michael
guess?
Buckta. Oh, shout out to Kev Do and Josh B. Then Josh B says Buckta. And then Matthew Ryan says, "Let's go Devils." Kev Do saying Buckta. That was bullshit. Blame Kev, Josh B says. Matthew Ryan, Giants suck.
Yep.
Kev Do saying, "Bro, really, Josh, how about your Bills pick?"
A
Shake
little
my head.
controversy here for the TCA. Everything's smooth sailing last year. Different ball game this year, Michael. And I know
Well,
you've noticed that.
Ascension in the
Well,
ranks.
I know you guys probably took them for granted last year.
Yeah, let him pick first every
Yeah.
week. That won't matter.
Yeah, no, we did. We did do that.
Yeah. So that's
So-
our
It
fault.
did matter.
But,
It did matter.
but guess what happened? You guys came in and said,
We
"Not
saw.
tonight."
Yes, exactly.
We fucking conquered.
Yeah, you are
Kev
conquering
said
every
it's still
night.
early. I think it's getting very late
Hold on,
early,
you're
Kev.
skipping comments.
I know, but I just had
Ernesto
to get that in
saying,
there. I was wrong.
"Here, let's go, Igor." Kev Do
Ernie.
saying, "How about those Packers?" Matthew Ryan, "Let's go Jets." 3-6 playoffs in the future. Who, dude? He is so
Playoffs in
fair
the
weather.
future.
It's not even
Oh
funny.
yeah, changing like the weather.
Yo,
Matthew Ryan.
dude, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
Changing like the weather.
Josh B saying I suck. ... I know. Laughing emojis. Ernesto 6-3. How's your Raiders? Oh, okay. Good talk. LMAO. And then Kev 2 saying Matty G. It's still early.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how early though, right?
I don't know.
Especially for the
I was gonna say,
Raiders.
just like the Raiders, like the TCA here, it is getting late quick.
And by the way, speaking of the Packers, that just went final. The Lions winning that one, 24-14.
The rain, Detroit, the running.
So right now,
Unbelievable.
we are left with one game in progress here. The Seahawks trail the Rams 20-13. Geno Smith with 2 red zone interceptions, so that him doing them in with the mistakes today. So the Rams look to even up that record at 4-4 after the start they had to this season and the talk, about Kupp possibly getting traded. I mean, they're hanging around here and they might be back in the playoffs like we saw last year.
Yeah, which is obviously, good for them there. I would say, like we were talking about it last week, the stat, I think they were 3-6. To make their season, obviously, not the outcome that they wanted, but made it way more interesting. Postseason, obviously, you know what happened there. But it's just interesting because it's, obviously that was right there, right in front of us from last season. And people still kind of count out the Rams, the injuries, whatever. And honestly, if they do end up taking this game away here, which seems like they will, I mean, Nakua wasn't even like a huge factor,
100%. No.
It still seems like he's kind of nursing his knee a little bit. Like, I don't know if he is 100% or not. Obviously, last week looked good. First couple weeks back, whatever. But clearly, still something is lingering him. So he's not even 100%. And like you said, Cooper Kupp seems like he's going nowhere, Brian, except to the winner's circle with the Rams. So,
Unequivocally.
yeah, interesting matchup here with the Seahawks. Kind of watching a little bit here. We saw Geno Smith, both of his picks. Or I guess 2 out of the 3 of the picks that he's had.
Tyron Williams getting blown up there. So maybe, Tony, Seattle a chance to get the ball back.
I mean, 3rd and 15 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would imagine this would be, kind of a
Final time out here.
resulting in a punt here for this series.
But I
There's
would
one
imagine
interception from Smith.
It's a run, the 2-minute warning,
The pick
followed
6.
by a punt.
Josh is changing the channel on me. Josh be that damn bastard, dude. Jeff changing the channel on me. It's totally fine. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think the Rams at the end of the day here, hang on. I mean, you're seeing a look on Geno Smith right now. Even if you think if the Seattle Seahawks have the opportunity to march down the field, like to some odd, and they'll be working with probably the 2-minute warning, no timeouts though. Do you think that Smith and the boys have what it takes to score here? I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Still a tall task.
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
But would it not be one of those things like we see Geno Smith, late game comeback, wins the game, former Jet quarterback, followed up by Sam Darnold tonight. Maybe he's down against the Colts. 4th quarter, comes back, wins. I'm just saying, could see something like that happening.
Yeah, I could see that too. I would say
Lasagna for everyone.
I would say more so with I don't know. If I had to pick between the 2 quarterbacks, I don't think Smith would do it. I would imagine that Darnold would be more likely to make that comeback. But I guess we'll see here.
Unequivocally.
I mean, 3rd and 15 here. Rams are lining up.
Looks
Stafford in the gun.
I think they're going to try to pick this up. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I mean, I would imagine they're throwing downfield here. No, they're going to go with a run.
Yep, they want that clock. So that's going to get it inside the 2-minute warning. And then they will get the punt group out. And Seattle will have a chance to, tie or maybe take the lead with a 2-point conversion here if they're able to put together a 2-minute drive. So
that's good.
we'll keep an eye out for that. What do you think about Kev Dew saying you better be done by 9 p.m. because the Penguin is on?
What?
That's what Kev Dew said. No, Mr. Poo-Poo.
We better be done by 9 p.m. because when the Penguins are on.
The Penguin.
Bro,
show.
the Penguin, the show. Are you sleeping over there, buddy? You falling asleep there, buddy?
You a little tired, bud?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, but I thought you said the Penguins, as in like, the I mean, I don't have to be there for 9 p.m. Like, I'm going to watch it afterwards.
Right, because you can watch it at any time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, like,
it is funny how this day and age with like shows and stuff, there is no like, oh, you need to be in front of the TV at this time.
Dude, that was such a big deal growing up.
But you know what? What
Like,
if
how
people
funny is
start
that?
doing that and they're like, we're only going to have it on this time and pull it off until we release it on DVD?
But then I just feel like people are going to be too tight.
Yeah, I think people would be tight, dude. I feel
Yeah, I
like
need to
that.
stop getting tight.
And then Josh
yeah,
B saying you should call into Binge Buddies and talk about it. So is that like a little like Kev do? Like,
Yeah, it's like a dig.
step up,
I mean,
right?
it really should. I mean, Josh B is
Kev
right.
Dew
to be
never
honest.
calls in
Kev
to
Dew hasn't called
anything.
into Binge Buddies in a very long time.
He doesn't believe in
And
it.
honestly, like, not for nothing, like, even just comment would be great.
Yeah.
Talk about the Penguin. He never commented.
Yeah, I
about
didn't
the
even know
Penguin.
he liked
I didn't
the
know he
Penguin.
watched it like that.
Yeah, like what the heck?
Although then again, he may not like it and just be knowing that I watch it. Be like, yo, you better fucking watch it. But then again, like, if you're not watching it, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So, but we did have a very interesting day of games, which we're going to get to right now. But wanted to give a special shout out. I know Chokri texted me, him, my sister, my niece Layla, watching the Sports Port from North Carolina.
There we go.
So we welcome in them here and appreciate them always hanging with us.
Yeah, dude, they're great viewers. I always appreciate that. The out-of-state fans.
Yes.
Great time, dude. And we know how Michael Buckta feels about Carolina.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So looking at the earlier window here, I would say probably the game of the early window was the Bills and Dolphins.
Mhm.
We saw the Bills win this one 30-27 on a Tyler Bass 61-yard field goal. I have to say, when he was lining that one up, I wasn't expecting it to go through, especially he had missed an extra point earlier.
Yep.
Another field goal. I don't know if you saw this, but it was like, for whatever reason, like so high in the air, like he just completely like lobbed it up, and like it was, just with the wind, you didn't know which direction it was going to go. So 61-yard field goal there to win it. I have to say, I was surprised how the Dolphins hung in here, and I know Tua being back takes the team to the next level, but I have to say, I just get this feeling, even though this is a 3-point loss, they were right there. You just watch this team play though, and it just seems like
Selfish.
they're not going to get back to the level of play that they had last year because of the games that Tua missed and the losses that they had. And after this loss, they find themselves at 2-6.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it too when Tua first got his concussion. Like, what is he going to be back? Like 100% feeling good. Maybe, again, a week 9 against the Bills. Like, that's a really tough matchup. So, I mean, again, if the Dolphins were healthy and they were, I don't know, like imagine if they were, I don't know, 5-3 or 6-2 going into this game, then it's like, oh, all right, like you lost by a field goal against the Bills. I mean, they're arguably the best team in the league. Josh Allen's been killing it. Like, you'll see him again, whatever. But because of that, because of the injury that Tua had, because of the losses they suffered, all these games are becoming must-win games. And like you said, like it just seems like even if they do play their best football, it just seems like it would be too little too late. And then, we're talking about the Rams coming back. That's who you're playing next week, So
Right.
It's like it's not a cakewalk, these two games. And that at that point really shortens your season. There's only so many weeks
Mr.
kind of
Poo-Poo.
giving wins. So I mean, I guess
Smith
we'll see.
getting
dude.
sacked here at the
Sorry,
10-yard line. So getting late early.
Fisk.
But I definitely agree with you there. And it's interesting. Tua, 25 of 28, 231, 2 scores. They ran the ball pretty good.
A-chain.
But I just get the feeling, and we were talking about this before the show, they never beat the Bills. They struggle playing teams with winning records. So even though it seems like, all the big names, Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and A-Chain, really burst on the scene last year, doesn't seem like it's enough. Like when you watch this team, I mean, what do you think is missing?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, all those guys you named, like you said, are very talented. So, I mean, at the end of the day, do you look at the offensive line? I mean, I don't think
25 of 28 though, right?
Yeah,
I mean you're
efficient.
running for over,
only sacked once. It didn't really seem like he had an issue with having time. And again, like from what you watch from Miami, there are plays where Tua is just sitting in the pocket, So again, it's like, what do you look towards? Is it coaching?
But everybody loves McDaniels.
Everybody loves
right?
McDaniels. So it's like, I don't know, dude. At that point, is it Tua? And it just, Michael was saying before the show, it just kind of seems like he's the type of quarterback that just isn't really having it, And I feel like you look at some of his career, he's a quarterback that struggled with controlling, retaining possession, the turnovers and whatnot. And obviously at this point, the injuries. So it's just like, I don't know, at what point does Miami, with all this talent that's been kind of cultivated on their roster, look for a new leader?
I'll add to that too, dude.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Lamar Jackson, like they're to me, in my eyes, the same level of throwing ability.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you said, how many pieces he had? He has so many pieces. Like, imagine if he didn't.
Yeah, no,
He'd
you're right. You're right.
suck.
And you know what I was going to bring up, and I don't know if this makes any sense or not, but do you guys think that it might just have to be he doesn't have a fastball? Like, you know what I mean? His throw, it's a lobbed throw. So it's like when you're playing tough defenses, playoffs, or just teams with winning records, and you're kind of like lobbing it in there. I mean, aren't they going to be able to defend it, especially like when the game's on the line?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure, dude. So, I mean, you know, it's interesting. I guess we'll kind of see where Miami goes, but I mean, I don't know, dude. It's funny because I'm looking at the Ravens, you know, wide receiving core.
Yeah, you got Zay Flowers, Bateman, Nelson
Aguilar. Yeah, dude, like Isaiah Likely, who we know how he did to the tight end role. And
Such a
like,
shyster.
I mean, imagine if it was Waddle over there, like with Tyreek. Miami has Odell Beckham still too, right?
Yeah.
Like, where has he been? Is he
He
like
made it like a catch or two today, but yeah, he's not the
even
same
Mostert too is pretty solid. Like,
Yeah, A-Chain.
it's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah. And by the way, my mother says, hi, Brian. Just got home from Rhode Island. Have a fun show, everyone. And she did text me earlier. I guess it used to be a tradition when we were younger. Now it's one of those things like I just couldn't have it. They still like it, but the never ending possible at Olive Garden. Was that ever you back in the day? I'm guessing not.
No, not really.
Michael, once back in the day. Stop.
My stepfather owned a pizzeria,
Yeah.
so he just.
that
and my
answers-
mom was Bulgarian.
Right,
It was just
right,
like all home
Yeah.
cooked stuff.
That answers the question.
We would go out, but it'd be like, you know what? I'm curious if your parents ever went to the Pepper Mill. I hope they're listening.
Yeah.
The Pepper Mill.
That sounds familiar.
That place was fire.
Where?
I think it was in Westport,
It was
and
in
it was
Westport,
and it
okay.
was like all you could eat salad buffet. And I think it was buffet. I was really young, but I just remember it being amazing, and we would go often if we went out. And Sidetracks back in the day, which is now Geronimo's, which is trash. We all know. But if you want those nachos, Little Goose.
Little Goose.
Little
yes.
Goose,
Haven't been there in
dude.
a while. Have you guys been there?
No, we have to.
Been there
Next
before,
next
dude.
big victory, we're going.
Yeah. The espresso martinis. I feel like they might have some of the best ones,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Especially
dude.
in the southern tip of Connecticut.
I thought you were going to say the southern districts.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Wow. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Does not come
no,
up with
I
anything.
think he did.
dude.
No,
Really?
I think he did. They're saying, wait, what's the deal here?
I mean,
Was this a fourth and long?
Wait, mozzarella.
This.
Let's see.
I know we've been kind of botching it on watching
No, I'm
this drive.
pretty sure this is a catch
That's definitely,
that's
a,
definitely
catch.
a catch.
Oh, it definitely is a catch.
because the hit was out of bounds.
Yeah. So it's a yep, and he caught it, and it was a great pass, and it
Control,
was wow, dude. How about that?
But I
Gino
guess
answering the bell right
Oh,
there.
it is, okay. It is 1st and 10.
First
It was
and now.
interesting. It said 4th and 5 for a second, so that's why I was confused. But
Bless you.
57 seconds remaining here. Gino in the
Bless you.
shotgun, motion right, dropping back to pass. And that is a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba,
Stop it.
the second-year wide
called it,
receiver
Tony.
from Ohio State, with the touchdown. So be interesting to see. Are they going for two? It kind of seems like they're kicking the extra point.
I mean,
I don't agree with that, honestly. I feel like now we've reached a point. Why risk overtime? Why not have a chance to score from the 2-yard line and win the game? I know the Rams have 51 seconds left and one time out, but I just feel like you're putting it all up for grabs if you don't. But now it looks like they're going for 2. No,
I want to say it looks like the field goal unit is not coming on. I don't know, dude. I feel like if I was Seattle, I would probably go for the tie. I don't know.
we
dude.
saw the Patriots. Oh, they are
Looks like
going for the
there's a
tie.
field goal
But
going,
the
yep.
Patriots do that earlier today, and then ended up, I think, throwing an interception
Mhm.
after the Titans kicked a
Oh.
field goal. Did you
Yeah.
just throw up, Gino?
It looked like he did for a second, but I think maybe he just
Sting.
happened to have water in his
Yeah.
mouth and he just went like that.
But I don't know. I mean, I know there's still time left, but I just feel like, Matthew Stafford, 51 seconds left, a timeout. Seems like they'll be able to get in the field goal range. You would think. Anyway, I don't think, this isn't the 85 Bears defense, Tony.
That's true. That is true. You would imagine, Cooper Kupp will be heavily looked at on this drive. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. At this point, you really are kind of putting it in the hands of the Rams to get a field goal here. But I guess we'll see.
And is it ever a matchup thing with you with like the touchdown at the end of the game, extra point ties it 2 point, for the lead? Is there any like rule you have with that makes you feel like, whether you're going to kick the extra point or go for 2, depending on how much time is left, or does it depend on the opponent? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess you kind of, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have to play the opponent, not just the situation. So I would say, depending on the opponent, I would think like, oh, all right, like odds are if we go to overtime and they have the ball, like they're probably going to score. Like maybe let's just try to go for 2, end it now, sort of deal. But if it's a team that I know, like, oh, like we've been handling them defensively well, we can stop them. I'm like, all right, let's play for the tie. We'll play for overtime, and then we'll get another drive in there.
Tony Houdini right now. What happens?
Yeah. If I had to guess, dude, I would say that the Rams marched down and they fucking scored a touchdown, to be honest.
A touchdown?
I think a touchdown, yeah.
Wow, that would be something.
No, yeah, I think so, dude. And I think it's going to be Cooper Kupp touchdown, maybe like a 25-yarder or something. Them, just kind of getting, obviously trying to look for extra yards, easier field goal, but then Kupp is maybe wide open somewhere, blown coverage, secondary for Seattle.
How about this? I have Smith and Jigba. He scores 43 for me, and I don't win.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Crazy.
He had 43 points?
43 points. And it's all because in this league, I don't even want to do it next year. You have a quarterback spot. As Stafford drops back. Is that a catch? There is a flag. So let's see what the flag is here. Pass interference against the defense. Did I say Nakua?
No, I said Nakua.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. I didn't say that. But tell me you wouldn't be excited about this. So, sorry, just think about this for a second. 12-man league, okay? One quarterback, like actual spot, but then you have multiple flex positions. One of the flex positions, you could put a quarterback in there. So everyone rats quarterbacks early. So I was stuck with Russell Wilson, Anthony Richardson, and Gardner Minshew. So now I'm down to Russ.
Dude.
So that's why I'm losing these games, because somebody drafted like 5 quarterbacks. They're all starting.
Yeah.
Of course, the ones I draft, are barely playing. Besides Russ, I mean, things actually look pretty good there.
Yeah, for sure. But that's tough. Minshew and Anthony Richardson looks like he's not even going to have a fucking career, dude.
But, what do you think about that? Is it just I guess Jim Irsay is just desperate to, get back to the playoffs. That's why they're going with Flacco. I know Flacco's look pretty good, but it's so just to get to the playoffs this year, you're going to throw away your number 1 pick from 2 years ago? Or what, last year, I guess, technically?
Last year.
Because this is his second season.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not a good look, dude. I mean, again, with Flacco, it's like, unless you're taking from the position where it's like, hey, I believe in my team right now. Everyone else is great.
But they're not.
But it's not.
I know, a mediocre team.
Exactly. So it's like, what are you really trying to do? Are you just trying to be like, I don't know, I don't know what. I don't know. I would be starting him though. Almost like the mentality the Browns had before Watson got injured, they were paying him a lot of money in this instance where this guy's our first pick.
And
we should play him.
Stafford, does he get out of bounds? It looks like he does. So 40 seconds left. It looks like the ball is near midfield here. So you would think that the Rams are going to need about 20 to 30 yards to get into a range for Joshua Carty. His career long is 52 yards. And
that was week 4 in Chicago.
Stanford was 61 yards. So they are rapidly approaching that. Ball on the 49.5-yard line going out. Stafford dropping back. Faces some pressure, gets a throw off, but it is incomplete. Yeah. So it's going to be 3rd and 2, 34 seconds left. So I think this has to be one of those things. I mean, you have the timeout in the pocket.
Right.
But I just think it's don't get too greedy. This should be a 5 or 6 yard pass. If you're able to get out of bounds, great. But even if not, you could spike it. You could take that timeout. But just don't try to go for the home run ball here, because then you put yourself in a precarious situation on 4th down.
Yeah, true. I feel like, honestly, if I were the Rams, I would line up in the gun, run it, call the timeout, and then have the new set of downs.
Could do that. Looks like Seattle is going to bring the blitz unless this is disguised. Kupp in motion moving to the bottom of the screen. Stafford
that,
dropping
dude.
back. He's
Getting
going
greedy
for it.
Oh
and
my
it
God!
is
Almost picked
almost
here.
picked, but incomplete.
Knocked out of bounds.
There is a flag.
Is it targeting
It
head to
looks
head?
like that's going to be targeting in a first down.
Come
the former
on, dude.
Giant Jordan Love applying the hit there. So it looks like the Rams are going to get set up with a field goal to win the game. And what do you know about the 2-point conversion, Tony? No, I know, like obviously,
come on,
missed the field goal, but then again, if they had missed the field goal, then you win the game.
Yes, no, that is very true. But I mean, I don't know, dude. I think that they'll probably play it back here. I forget what game it was too, but you say no foul in the play? No foul in the play? No.
I knew. Didn't you read his lips when he said that?
Yeah. So that's pretty fucking huge then, as there really shouldn't have been, because that was as clean can get, I feel. Like, come on, dude. But yeah, I mean, that's tough, dude. I mean, you said it, Brian. Like, don't get greedy. Just play for the first down here. Now, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see, how Seattle plays
do
this.
They
they
punt
know.
or
Punt? No, they're not punting. I don't. What?
On 4th and 2? Like what?
I don't know.
They are punting.
Would you be punting though?
As opposed to going for it?
Yeah, they don't have any timeouts. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, but this is like the 2-point conversion stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with this punt though, you're definitely playing like we're gonna go to overtime.
The only thing that's nice about this is, the game carries us into the next game now with the overtime period.
Oh yeah, which is great, dude. Yeah, that is pretty solid. But I mean, I feel like if you didn't go for it on 4th and then turn it over, then you're kind of like, all right, then like Seattle has it, 20 seconds left.
Yeah,
they could take a shot, sort of deal.
But again though, if you went for the 2, Tony.
Yes.
Game over.
It would be game over
not
right
really,
now.
though, because then they would have went for it on 4th down. So again,
actually,
you want to force them into that. You just don't want to hear it with
the
this going
scenarios, dude. Oh gosh. Ripping some highlights here.
And while we're waiting
Commanders.
for, as they take the knee, so we'll be heading to overtime. Just wrapping up this Bills-Dolphins game. So I think we both agree, Dolphins, it looks like it's not going to happen this year. So it'll be interesting to see, moving forward, how they're going to, what changes will be made to get them to the, competitor status that they're looking for. On the other side here, though, the Bills 7-2, 4-0 at home. Boy, they look pretty good. And, Amari Cooper didn't even play. He was out with an injury. I mean, is it just me though, or like I know we were talking about this off camera, that this could be finally the year the Bills maybe get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Who they're going to have to go through, of course, with the Chiefs. But boy, they look good, and even though they're 7-2, and the Chiefs are 7-0.
That's right.
I feel like they look better. No,
the Bills.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I would definitely concur with that one, Brian. I mean, you look at this game too. I mean, not for nothing. Like Josh Allen didn't have his best game of the year by any means. 25 and 39, okay, especially when you compare it to Tua's. 235 through the air, the 3 touchdowns is great. 1 interception. I know you're like, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you'd take that stat line all day, Michael. But that again, with the way Allen has been playing, that wasn't his best stat line by far. And I just feel like you said, Cooper wasn't playing today. They're like, no one had a crazy, outstanding 110, 130 yard receiving day or anything like that. And you didn't even run the ball that much either. 100 yards on the ground seemed pretty standard. So I don't know. Yeah, you skim by here. The Dolphins, they made it interesting. It was 3 points, everything like that. But you did beat them. You're man undefeated. And not for nothing. I feel like next week they can come back and look better.
Yeah.
They're
exactly.
still the threshold is still high.
Well, and then you look at this game. So you don't have Amari Cooper, so that's one thing. But then on top of that, Josh Allen, 2 carries, 7 yards. We know what he's capable with, running the football. So, and then James Cook only had 10 carries. He's looked great this year. So I just feel like you can beat teams in so many different ways that this kind of feels like it. Because I've always had my questions with Josh Allen, but it just seems like he's playing more smartly this year.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the lack of interceptions is something that's indicative of him playing more smart.
Yeah.
They're just showing that Cowboys play ticked up off of him. Pretty crazy. The touchdown, that was wild.
I've never seen anything like
never
that.
Seen anything like that ever. But yeah, dude, Josh Allen's looking great. And I'm all for it, honestly. Good for him. Let's go, dude.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
foot in the gas pedal.
And we do have that game against the Chiefs coming up. So not next week,
For the
but
Bills?
the following week they
Yeah.
will host the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That could be the game of the year. Tony.
Easily, dude. And I think they have the Colts next week. So it's like
The Colts
You
next
would
week
imagine-
in Indy.
yeah, you would imagine, but that game is like them humming, like just
Allen
taking care of business.
indoors.
Yeah. So they'll be looking pretty prime here, I think, for when they take on the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we look at the rest of the games from today, obviously we're gonna have kickoff coming up here from Minnesota in about 25 minutes or so.
Give or take.
And I know our pick, of course, is the Vikings here -5.5. The line has actually went up to 6.
Yeah.
We've seen them, they jump out to this 5-0 start, lose the last 2 games, but still, look pretty good out there. Obviously Darnold, has done his job, 14 touchdowns, 5 picks so far. Aaron Jones has rushed for 500 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also been a capable receiver out of the backfield. We all know about Justin Jefferson. So when you look at this game and the angle of, Joe Flacco, in for Richardson, obviously that provides them with some more consistency. Do you see this as kind of one of those games that, may come down to the final possession, or do you see it more where the Vikings, at least by the later on parts of this game, are going to end up pulling away?
It's tough, dude. I mean, obviously, Flacco is such like almost like enigmatic, in the sense where he could come out here and throw for over 300 yards and just be crystal clean, you know? But I don't know. I feel like the key for a Vikings victory here is for that defense to show up. I mean, not for nothing. I mean, you look at the last few games. I mean, scoring hasn't been an issue. Against the Rams, they lose 30-20. Detroit, 31-29. They put 23 up on the Jets. They put 31 up on Green Bay, 34 up on Houston in a pretty emphatic win there. So again, it just seems like every game, those names you're mentioning, Aaron Jones, Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, I mean, they're all playing their game. It's really the matter of if this defense can get to Flacco, they just need to get the defensive line. They need a heavy rush. They need to force Flacco into quick decisions that hopefully force him into mistakes. Again, I mean, Flacco's been in, numerous positions before. If you give him time, he's going to sit in the pocket and he's going to probably make a great throw downfield. You don't give him that time, So I just feel like if the Vikings offense just shows up, does their job that they've been doing all year long, defense steps up. I mean, that loss against the Rams, they had no sacks. And I think the loss against Detroit, they had a couple sacks, but it's you just need more. You need more pressure. The quarterback has to have people in his face all game long.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to continue on this conversation, but we did have a play here in the overtime period between Seattle and the Rams. There's a penalty in Jigba catching it for a first down. Not sure if this is going to hold up, but obviously, Seattle winning the toss here. So touchdown would win the game. As we wait to hear what the call is, it looks like offside. So that's going to be a first down. So Seattle already creeping into the Rams territory here. So they will look to win this game and not give the Rams the opportunity to possess the ball. Sean McVay looking irate on the sidelines. And what's interesting, you're talking about the Vikings, the Colts here. I feel like Joe Flacco, I almost don't. And wow, this ball is actually on the 25-yard line. So let's just see what happens here with this play. Walker up the middle, gain of 3. But I don't know if there's anybody where there's a parallel to another quarterback that has had the type of career he has, where you look at the career, obviously the Super Bowl season, he times it right. He was headed into free agency, gets paid all that money at the time, highest paid quarterback in history. But then, fails to find consistency.
Yep.
But then now I feel like, am I wrong to say he's pretty much playing as good as he ever has? And he's, approaching 40 years of age. Kind of amazing. His arm strength seems exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just his mentality of being, I'm just the guy off the bench. I am just that old guy coming off the bench to fill in where people are just kind of tight. And I don't know if it's that mentality or if it's whatever. but it's working for him. Because he's coming off the bench and he's throwing over 200 yards and playing a game like as if he is still like playing for the Ravens Super Bowl year sort of deal, which it is crazy. It really is. It's nuts, dude.
And it's funny too, and I'm sure at 2012 that probably wasn't like your peak of watching football, but I always say that was one of the oddest championship runs I've ever seen because the Ravens for 15, 20 years, the entirety of Ray Lewis's career, Ed Reed had one of the best defenses in the league. And when they won that championship, those guys were at the tail ends of their career. And even throughout the season, they didn't play great.
Right.
But for whatever reason, during the playoffs, like they just took it to a whole nother level. Anquan Bolden, too. Like it seemed like his career was done. And he just has this great run. Flacco. I mean, it was a very, just an amazing run that they had, especially felt like at the time San Francisco was the more talented team, Crabtree, Kaepernick, they're playing well. That defense, it was an amazing run that they had, way back in, 2011, 2012.
Yeah, it seems honestly even like so much longer ago than that, to be honest, which is kind of wild. Because I remember that Super Bowl actually very vividly.
Yeah.
Because my uncle at the time, always hosts like a Super Bowl party, but you don't know who was in it. So obviously you're always watching. And that team was entertaining to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray Rice, I think.
Ray Rice was still on it.
Well,
yeah.
Josh Newman says Skull. Maybe talking about the Vikings, right?
Skull or Skull?
Skull.
Skoal. O-L. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Seahawks on fourth down, and they are stopped. What a stop by the Rams defense here, holding strong. So 7:19 on the clock. Obviously, they're pushed back here on the field, I think around the 22, 23-yard line. But we'll only need a field goal to win this game. What a stop on fourth down. And what do you think of the play call here, Tony? Obviously a chip shot field goal pretty much, under 40 yards. They don't kick it, and they go for, picking up the first, don't get it. What was your thoughts on that decision there?
I probably would have made the same decision, I guess. Yeah, I
just
think I would have.
Just because you're far down there, you kick, they can still score and win.
Maybe a different play, though. I don't know. I always think for I don't know. Things like that, I want to see like a play fake, some type of maybe play action or like have a guy in motion to cause something. I don't know.
Not just a traditional run up the middle. That's not going to work. Maybe like the wide receiver coming around.
Right, exactly. But nonetheless here, the Rams have it there on their own, 19, 18.
Stafford dropping
back. Let's one go. Oh, my God.
And it looked like it was going to be picked.
I don't know how that wasn't.
And I'm trying, number 18, is
Johnson?
that Johnson?
Yeah.
With the reception there. What a gritty catch there.
And it was kind of like a lob throw. So like the defender underneath was almost cutting off the pass. And then even the defender who was on the receiver looked like he was going to have it too. But it just looked like Johnson just timed that.
Oh, so Tyler Johnson,
perfectly.
The former Buck wide receiver, with the reception there.
What a fucking catch, dude. And you had to see Stafford had some pressure in his face, had to short arm that throw, which is why it was a little bit of a lob. Very, very impressive chemistry between those two right there in that play.
So 40-yard line, 1st and 10, play clock inside 5 minutes, gets the snap off, play action.
Rolling out.
Stafford with the throw, and that is complete.
Johnson again?
It's
Atwell.
Tutu Atwell picking up the first down. So the Rams moving the ball down the field here.
Humming.
This has turned into one of the most entertaining games of the day.
Let's fucking go, dude. You love that play. Obviously designed to have Stafford roll out. You see so many receivers, running towards the sideline he's rolling out to, which causes some confusion in the secondary of the Seahawks, and that's why Atwell was open for the reception.
Bernie in the building, so good to have him here. He says, wow, that's what happens when you don't attack the ball.
Yeah, no, that's true, dude. Wish I would, could see the Jets do that.
So 46-yard line, a run up the middle, Karen Williams. Inside the
Classic.
40 now, and the target line looks like it's right at the 35-yard line. So basically, you pick up this first down. As far as the analytics say that you should be in comfortable field goal range here.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting here. Yeah, their guy from Stanford, right?
Yeah, Cardi.
Yeah.
With a chance potentially to be a hero.
Yeah, you love that. I don't know much about Cardi. Has he had any like high pressure kicks?
Well, the week 4.
Oh, I guess
right?
week 4. Yeah, true. That's interesting here. Wow, there we go. Look, another
Rolling
rollout
out.
play, and
Is
it
this
looks
a
like
game-winning touchdown?
Oh,
One-handed.
yeah.
Demarcus Robinson.
Wow,
The
dude.
game-winning touchdown. Matthew Stafford doing it again, and I think he's telling America right now, Tony, hold on. Wait a second. The Rams are in this thing.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, dude. This is actually kind of wild. I mean, good for Stafford, good for Demarcus Robinson. What a crazy throw. What a crazy reception,
the game
too.
face. How about that face?
He's
Tony?
not even. It doesn't look like he's happy. He's just dialed in. Next week, he's already on to next week. We're on to Cincinnati.
Bernie saying, "Let's fucking go." So I don't know if that was a bet or if he's a Rams fan or what.
Maybe a little bit of both.
What a throw. Maybe Stafford on fantasy as well. McVay jacked up, dapping up Stafford, Tony. So
there we go. You know, McVay is a coach of the people.
Yeah,
No doubt about
absolutely.
that, dude.
So what a win for the Rams. And it looks like, Tony, and I know, Seattle had many opportunities to win this game, didn't. But it seems like it's two teams going in opposite directions here.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, Seattle's definitely on the downward spiral. And the Rams stock is rising high.
Catch.
I mean,
Everybody just wants to catch it one-handed these days.
One-handed catch. I mean, he's fending off the receiver with the other hand. And honestly, I really thought there was more of a battle for the possession of that ball. But they really, I mean, the whole way, that was all Robinson did.
And this is why I feel like the Rams, with Stafford, with McVay, with Nakua, Kupp, and Kyron Williams, really present, a tough matchup for opposing teams in the playoffs. Like, you could see them upset, a top seed, come January.
Yeah, I mean, that culture they have that McVay has laid down, that Stafford also indulges in, is that gritty, never give up, like balls to the wall type of attitude. And that seems to be, throughout the entire team, to be honest. I mean, if your quarterback and your coach, believe in it, obviously you're going to buy into it as well. And I mean, I feel like that's just been Stafford's entire career. We've seen him battle injuries, overcome adversities. He's always just like next snap, get the ball down the field, and then take it next play after that. So
Bernie's saying fantasy, LOL.
Good for Bernie,
but definitely agree.
Good for Matthew,
especially too the beating that he took in Detroit.
Yeah,
hung in there. Wasn't easy. Wanted to win in Detroit, but then after a certain amount of time, welcomes the trade to Los Angeles. Wins in his first season with the team.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty remarkable.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, that trade. I mean, that was a crazy trade for Goff, Stafford. Like, that's.
I don't know if you will ever see a trade work out like that again.
Unbelievable for both teams.
Right.
I know it's an interesting question. And, if you were to ask who really did make out with that trade.
I mean, obviously you're going to lead Super Bowl, but at the same time, it just seems like both teams needed that.
Yeah.
The Lions had Stafford forever, and you could argue, oh, well, they didn't have Dan Campbell. But Goff has really embraced the city there, and it's really worked out well.
It's great, yeah. I mean, speaking of both teams needing, I think both quarterbacks needed it as well. You mentioned the beating that Stafford was taking, and Goff. I don't know, it just seemed like things were going just either sour or dull for the Rams. And I know it looked like at first Goff leaving, going to Detroit, it looked like, oh man, like Goff made kind of be done, but
trending in the wrong direction.
But no, I mean, he's looking great with Detroit, and Stafford's looking great with the Rams here. So, yeah, dude, it's definitely, like you said, this was definitely one of the more exciting games that we've seen all day.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see Stafford and the Rams, in the middle of the playoff race here at 4-4. Speaking of 4-4, that's where the Colts find themselves. And I was just looking through the numbers, and Anthony Richardson obviously did not play well in the 6 games this year. 4 touchdowns, 7 picks. Joe Flacco has played 4 games, and I know not all of them have been starts, but 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 65% completion percentage. So over 20 points higher than what Richardson did at 44.4. So when you look at this game and the numbers for the Colts receivers aren't great. I mean, we know what Michael Pittman is. Donnie Mitchell, maybe, as a rookie. Jonathan Taylor hasn't caught too many passes out of the backfield. No. But, I mean, is it a balanced attack or is it like, let's just air it out with Flacco? I mean, I know that the Vikings run defense it seems like anyway, presents, a pretty, decent challenge. And it just seems like good things have happened when Flacco's put the ball in the air.
Yeah, no, I think so, and I think if you want to look at it from an Indianapolis standpoint, maybe watching the last two losses of the Vikings here, it seems that their secondary was giving up a lot of yards.
Yeah.
Yards after the catch, maybe even playing whatever zone they're doing where they're almost, keeping the ball kind of in front of them. But because of that, you're giving up like significant, receptions. So I think if Flacco can handle that, really read the Minnesota secondary, and find an open man, I know, like you said, Indianapolis, receiving core isn't great. But I think, between, you mentioned Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs even as well. I think you can find a reasonable like target downfield.
Yeah, no, those guys are talented.
So it should be interesting. I mean, if I'm the Colts, maybe I would test that secondary right away.
Yeah,
like first drive, like try to send it downfield.
First play.
Yeah, exactly. Try to like really test that secondary, see what they can do. If it looks like they're on top of their game, maybe try to establish your run game with Taylor, and then get to some passing. But I think testing that secondary early on will be a key to the Colts' success.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of testing the secondary, I think that's what Jaden Daniels did in the 27-22 win at MetLife Stadium against the New York Giants here. The Washington Commanders, I believe it's for the first time in, I don't know if it's franchise history or in 20 years, something like that, but they are 7-2 now. Daniels seems to be the talk of the NFL. 15-22, 209, 2 touchdowns. They ran for 149 as a team, a balanced attack, which saw 4 players have at least 8 carries on the ground. Noah Brown had some big catches as well. Terry McLaurin, only 2 catches, but 2 touchdowns here for Washington. And, I think they applied a lot of pressure to Daniel Jones and the Giants. And I know the Giants could argue, they had one of their better games of the year. Jones finally throwing the touchdown passes at MetLife. But it's hard not to look at this game and think that Washington, really might have something special here. It might be ready to compete this season. I mean, obviously you're 7-2 and you're leading your division. Yeah, which is so crazy. I mean, I feel like if you went to our, divisional previews before this season, I don't think we had Commanders, leading or winning this division.
I did.
And I mean, not for nothing, it looks like they could be pretty close to it, But yeah, the team is great. You mentioned Daniels. I mean, he's an absolute force. Another very solid performance from him, against the Giants here. And again, nothing crazy, but he was just playing good fundamental football. The Commanders in general were running the ball well. I mean, Austin Eckler, I feel like I heard his name almost every other play.
And speaking of him, filling in for Brian Robinson, I mean, they're deep there. Running back.
Yeah, really deep, dude. And you love Austin Eckler's story. Chargers, right? Yeah, went over from the Chargers, the walk-on. He had convinced whoever lied to somebody to get in the building for the tryouts, whatever divisional.
Matthew Gabriel's en route.
I think he wrote en route, dude. Austin Eckler, Division III college, I think, some no-name college, whatever. Obviously, you get his performance, 11 carries, 42 yards, pretty solid. Also had 3 receptions for 41 yards. So obviously had himself a little bit of a day here. Noah Brown, the prime receiver there for Washington, 5 receptions, 60 yards. And then, I think just looking at that, you get Terry McLaurin, only had 2 receptions with 2 touchdowns. I mean, Daniels, it seems like he could really just throw to anyone.
Yeah, no, really, he's comfortable. It doesn't matter who the target is. And, I think we have to give Dan Quinn some credit as well. That defense for Washington had been a mess. And just overall, in terms of wins and losses, under, Daniel Snyder, Ron Rivera, the results hadn't been there. So the Commanders find themselves in about as good of a spot. It was unbelievable. Could have hoped, coming into this season. And they will be home against the Steelers next week.
Big
so that's
game.
A 1:00 game, but that's going to be, I believe, one of the better games of the week. And it's interesting with the Giants, no matter how you slice it, I don't think there are moral victories in the NFL. So it just seems like no matter what you want to say, 2-7 is 2-7. And it just does feel eerily too familiar, especially, I'm sure, for Giants fans.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, Daniels, the 2 picks, the 1 pick that was so freaking ridiculous. That was just so dumb. The one where it was when he was getting sacked. It was, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the fumble. Never mind. But even so, his 2 picks, ridiculous.
Fumbles.
And the fumble.
Picks.
Really?
Yeah. It was fumbles.
Oh. The 2 fumbles.
I guess 1
One
fumble.
fumble?
Must have got
The
overturned.
1 fumble, dude. Oh yeah, maybe one lost, one maybe recovered.
Yes.
I think. Regardless, I mean, that's the story of Daniel Jones. I feel like his entire career. It's just the dumb plays, and it doesn't really seem to get past that. I mean, how do you expect to be, a contending quarterback? As I'm watching Barkley highlights, by the way, on the Eagles, which is also just absolutely ridiculous. When you're thinking that, you're thinking of Tyrone Tracy Jr. getting 16 carries for 66 yards.
He's actually been pretty good.
He's been okay. Yeah. He's been all right. But again, I mean, he would be a great backup to like a Saquon Barkley, it seems. But I mean, regardless, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a Daniel Jones issue over there for New York. Because I don't know. I mean, I feel like Slayton is solid. You mentioned Tracy having an okay year. Malik Neighbors also being, he's an impactful player. Clearly, you need a better quarterback out there to get these guys the ball.
Yeah, and I know Giants fans may not want to hear it because I'm sure other than the playoff season 2 years ago, it's just been a ton of losing since that last Super Bowl 2011, 2012. That you'd be best off losing majority, if not all of these games. But then you look at your schedule, you're playing the Panthers in Germany next week.
I mean, watch out, dude. Panthers won this week. Maybe they could fight their way to 2 wins in a row. But I don't know. I mean, if you're the Giants, would you be losing out? Like, would you be like, rather?
Yeah, and I know, but it's like it's the NFL. Like, it's too dangerous to like try to lose. But obviously, one thing you could do is put in backup. So like at the quarterback position, not that Jones necessarily lights the world on fire, even though he played pretty well this game. But you go to DeVito if he's healthy, or Drew Lock. Maybe that gives you a better chance to lose more games.
I mean, it seems like Daniel Jones is giving him a good shot at losing games.
But the thing is, if he gets injured
then
isn't healthy for that physical, then he's under his money's guaranteed, though. That's the only thing.
Oh my gosh, dude! I can't believe how much money they have to give him.
Yeah,
it really is so like outrageous.
It's a very, as you would say, Tony, precarious situation there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But yeah, I guess so. Put in Tommy Cutlets. I mean, I feel like it would at least rile the fan base, right?
Yeah. So just kind of interesting there. But looking around at some of the other results here, how about Joe Burrow? 5 touchdowns against Kev's Raiders today. So the Bengals, the 0-3 start, are now 4-5. Looking like they're ready to jump back in the playoff race. Obviously, some concerns about the defense. You give up 24 to a Raiders team that look to Desmond Ridder here in the second half, and is a mess themselves at 2-7. Chase Brown, at the running back position, 27 for 120. So they'll welcome that. Burrow, 251, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Mike Gesicki, the former Dolphin and Patriot tight end, 5 receptions, 100 yards, 2 scores. Let's talk about
fantasy.
Let's talk about this for a second. Gesicki, Michael, something, Tony, anything?
Yeah, I mean, he was someone who was on the radar, but I don't know. I just thought Isaiah Likely was like a better.
He doesn't want to listen anymore.
You know what it is,
You
though?
didn't fucking say to pick up Gesicki.
Ravens skill players, some of the riskiest fantasy players, other than running back. I'm saying it like wide receiver, because it's like the passing is so inconsistent. That's
it is. But I remember like seeing games where Isaiah Likely goes off.
But it's crazy. He started out that one game at the beginning of the year, and then since then, very much hasn't done much.
Listen, got me fucking 0 points though.
So you're pissed?
Yeah, I'm really fucking pissed, dude.
Yeah.
But regardless of being pissed about that, I am stoked for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Burrow, I think for the first half was like 15 of 16 through the air. Kind of ridiculous. And then obviously you said his stat line for the end of the game. And I mean, I know it's the Raiders, and we've talked about them a lot, and we know how I feel about Gardner Minshew. But I think for the Bengals to come out here, score 41 on Las Vegas, absolutely huge statement game. You mentioned they're 4-5.
Refill?
They're humming. Yeah, for sure. So you love that, dude. And the Jamar Chase also had a solid game, Michael. 11 targets, 7 receptions.
You too, dude.
It's chilly out there, huh? Yeah. Fucking hot in here.
Yeah, it is hot.
It's freezing.
I'm about to take
You're
off
a
the
fucking
sweatshirt.
bitch.
But basically you were saying, harpoon, Guinness, and a water.
Yeah, and a water, dude.
2 waters?
You don't deserve a water,
No, I don't
Tony.
want water. I don't drink water. I do drink water.
Burrow,
obviously.
though.
Burrow, statement game. Like, let's fucking go back. The season is like, let's go, right? I mean,
Next
like,
3 weeks, though, at Ravens
Doesn't
on
matter.
Thursday, at Chargers, home to Steelers. So you're going to need to continue, Tony, to play their best football.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. Obviously, Ravens tough. Chargers, I think, is a game they can handle for sure.
But not easy.
No, not easy by any means, but I don't know. I mean, we can get to the Chargers today, but I still think that is a winnable game, very much so for Cincinnati. And then Steelers, I mean, I guess. I mean, listen, if Burrow continues to play and improve upon his level of play, there really shouldn't really be an issue, I don't think, of them taking care of business against the Chargers, against the Steelers. And we've seen the Ravens have some issues. Who they get beat by 2 weeks ago? It was an upset. Titans? No.
I don't know what. I mean, I'll just look
Right?
it up.
I know. I'm just trying to think of my own. Who was it? It wasn't the Broncos, obviously.
No.
It wasn't the Titans. It was a bad team. Was it the Jags? No.
No. It was
The Commanders? The Browns.
The Browns, yes.
Jacoby Brissett, not Jacoby Brissett.
Jameis Winston, who looked like Jeremy Schaap today.
Oh my God, dude. So I mean, you never know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I would take it one game at a time. But I mean, next week, prime time, like Ravens, Bengals is
that's
gonna
be a great game.
Huge game. Yeah,
Thursday,
for sure.
For
dude.
sure. So that'll be a big litmus test here, around mid-season. So can't wait to watch that. But I think we would all agree that the league as a whole is in a better spot with Joe Burrow, in the playoffs and not home like he was last season. Thank you, Matthew. But we're about to get kickoff here from, is it U.S. Bank Stadium, I believe, Tony?
It is US Bank Stadium.
Joe
It is.
Flacco
Yes!
looking,
Yes!
Looking.
Yeah, chug that beer.
You know what I always thought, and I've actually never mentioned this to Matt, and I think you know him too, but he's gonna know the best. And I'm not saying it's identical, but have you ever looked at Joe Flacco and said, "Wow, that kind of looks like Goose a little bit"? Right?
I can see that.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's identical, but I mean, very similar though. So I just felt like that was kind of funny. But looking at the other results, Tony,
What's funny about it?
I don't know what's so funny about the Chargers being 5-3. You're questioning them. Herbert, I mean, probably one of his better games of the year. 18-27, 282, 2 scores. And, I know it is against Cleveland, but road games aren't easy to win. I mean, I think Jim Harbaugh has done a pretty good job so far in the early going for the Chargers. And I think, they represent a challenge, for the opponent here. I mean, is it as simple, though, as far as Herbert can take them? Or, I mean, what do you think? Defense is pretty good. I think they might be the top scoring defense in the league.
The Chargers are?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I mean, be that as it may, Brian. I think that
we just
Really?
love the sayings here on the Sports Word, but
Be that
we
as it
welcome
may.
Matthew.
Yes.
How are you?
Good, dude. How are you?
Where's your microphone? I can't hear it.
I can't hear anything. Maybe.
Wait, dude, maybe it's the XLR.
Dude, I fucking test all this
Is
shit
this sick?
beforehand. Diffusion of gas.
It's them,
You got a
Tony.
little-
Farts.
No.
It's
Um,
them, Tony. They just.
How about your
touch it.
mother saying, "Hi, Aunt. We were with Liz and AC,
Yeah, they called me already earlier on. They're in Brigada AC.
rubbing it in."
Oh, yeah,
What was
yeah.
for dinner tonight? Did they say?
I don't know. They said they were sending pictures.
Okay.
Never did.
Josh B, Matty G.
Probably because it was too good
Josh
of a time. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they never sent me photos of the fucking dinner, huh?
I'm sure now your mother will, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way. Knowing them, there's no way they're out to dinner now. Like it's way too late. They don't do that. No
Yeah,
way.
maybe the tables or
Oh yeah, the slots, dude.
Slots.
Penny
for
slots?
Sure. Penny slots, dollar slots, all types
Can you
of
guys hear?
slots.
Can you
dude.
guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You can't hear anything. Maybe push.
I already said I'm
push
Bob
the jacket in,
Costas.
dude. I mean, push
Bring
that
it
in
back
a
to
little
the top.
bit. No. Push it in.
I already said that.
Take it out. Push it in. No. You can't hear me.
No, I think we just make it up, honestly.
Yeah, I think you guys are making it up, maybe. But
kidding?
what?
What?
But regardless, here for the Chargers, yes, I mean,
Formidable.
formidable.
Great
Herbert
coach.
did look good. Obviously, coaching
Quarterback
was
can
well.
be great.
Quarterback can be great, but I mean, just looking at this game, I mean, watching this game, I mean, the Browns defense, I mean, I don't know what they were doing.
Well, I mean, how about Jameis Winston is your best offense? 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, that was Chargers' greatest weapon today was Jameis Winston. Yeah, with the 3 picks. Defense was getting to him, being sacked 6 times. No, Herbert was sacked 6 times as well. I feel like watching Herbert, I mean, maybe I could be crazy, but I feel like he was on the ball too freaking long, dude.
Okay, yep.
There's got to be like something in his head that it's like, okay, like let's just throw this away, like don't have to extend the play, don't do anything crazy. And maybe, if I look more into it, maybe that's why Herbert sometimes has, dumb turnovers, is because he is just trying to make something out of nothing, But obviously Quentin Johnson, huge game, 4 receptions, but 118 yards, and that huge 66-yard reception resulted in a touchdown, I believe. So I mean, you love that, but I don't know. I mean, even like Herbert's weapons. I mean, Johnson's good. J.K. Dobbins, I kind of like a little bit.
McConkley, the rookie wide receiver from Georgia, very talented.
I mean, we'll see. I guess I don't know. I feel like against a better team here, and I mean, I guess we'll
Ravens 2 weeks. They play the Titans next week. Obviously, Titans. You expect them to roll over. What happens when you play Baltimore? But then again, Baltimore has lost to Cleveland.
Okay.
And the Raiders earlier this year. So I would say that they have a shot there.
Yeah, no, I guess. I mean, they play Tennessee. They play Cincinnati first.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens. So that's kind of tough for them. I guess I'd be interested to see what happens. Again, you would imagine Titans take care of business. Probably something, similar to the Browns. But then it's like Bengals, Ravens, hold up a second.
Yeah.
Bengals are probably going to be humming.
So it's Ravens, Chargers in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. It's
no, just like
in 3
like
weeks,
a regular season matchup. So what I was getting at, another Harbaugh bowl. And maybe like the first since the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Tony was saying that was his favorite Super Bowl, or one of them. Did you say favorite or one of them?
I didn't say favorite. I said it was a great Super Bowl.
No, but I thought you said you just have.
No, dude, it was.
You said it was very memorable.
Very memorable. Yes, I said very memorable.
Yes.
No,
I didn't say it was my favorite or what. I just said it was very memorable.
Kind of missed
Well, we'll talk about that later.
All right.
There's just a problem with the Rangers, but no, I mean it doesn't look that bad.
hate when that
Thanks for calling me out now.
No, dude.
No,
I didn't even.
No, I just wanted to tell everybody
Because I haven't seen you without a bid in a while, dude.
Oh, a bid? We're getting ready for kickoff here in Minnesota. So we will keep you posted with that. But moving along, with the other games from today, what's a bigger story for you guys? The Falcons 27-21 over the Cowboys, them being 6-3, or the boys, Dak getting that hamstring tested 3-5 on the season and seeming like the season is spiraling out of control.
Yeah,
dude.
Didn't expect. I don't know. I feel like Dallas was going to do their usual deal, like be somewhat good regular season, like 11, 12 wins, something like that. Then never expect them to like go far in the playoffs at all. But and I am surprised at the Falcons too, because I didn't really know
Cousins, the mediocrity.
Cousins. Yeah, exactly. And then who is the quarterback that they have that they drafted?
Penix.
Yeah. So I mean, good for them. I don't know. I guess Kirk Cousins can, rally the troops.
He
like
shows up,
them,
dude.
Yeah, I mean, coming off the Achilles injury, I mean, he's done quite the job. What is he, 36 years old? I mean, this is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
19-24, 222, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
No, dude, he was looking great. Only sacked twice. He looks mobile in the quarter in the pocket as well. Again, you want to think about other quarterbacks maybe coming back from an Achilles injury, not being as mobile. Seems like Cousins, whatever controversial treatment he had, clearly worked out. But regardless, I mean, between Robinson on the ground, which again another player all year long is Bijan Robinson, I feel. Not even just on the ground, through the air as well. And I mean, also this is also like one of those games where it's just like Dallas Cowboys, just like I don't know, they fucking suck, dude. Like.
Yeah,
Dak said it, by the way. Like,
but it is interesting, though. I mean, they let Pollard go, but they have most of the team from last year. It's like, what's the problem? I mean, I guess that was a big loss.
You got Ezekiel Elliott apparently very distracted this season.
Well, he fucking.
I think I'm not
was benched for this game because he didn't go to practice.
It's just been very lackadaisical affair, dude.
Honestly, dude, when the fucking Cowboys got rid of Amari Cooper, I was like, that's fucking dumb, dude.
I mean,
and then I don't know, maybe after that, and then there was Jerry Jones like jerking around Dak Prescott, the contract. What are we doing? And then I feel
Yeah.
like McCarthy is like a
CD
marginal
Lamb.
coach. Yeah, the CD Lamb contract as well. It's just like
I think all that
What are we
stuff
doing,
obviously is coming to roost now, dude.
yes,
Like it's
the chickens come to roost. Is that what the thing is?
yeah. So I guess when you really look at it, Dallas, like not that surprising.
Yeah, I
And,
guess so. But still, I mean, dude, they were undefeated at home last week.
And I heard you
last
guys
year.
too just talking about the NFC East. Like, I mean, the Commanders out of nowhere, obviously.
Wild, right? Like
And-
Eagles, some struggles, still the locker room problems. Obviously, Cowboys, we
Yeah.
know. Giants, we know what's going on.
Well, the Cowboys just seem like a more of a circus than usual.
Yeah,
'Cause now, you got from like last week, everybody was talking about the like the fan visits, like
Yeah,
throughout, and they can walk through or
Mhm.
wherever. Like that's supposed to be just like players.
yeah,
only.
yeah. That's wild.
So I don't know, man. It just they always seem. It's always something.
Yeah,
It's always something with them.
yeah. No, I mean,
So-
I don't know. I never. It just always seems like Jerry Jones has his little fingers like in the organization
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like he wants to make sure he gets like certain credit or has say for certain things.
Yeah, very very weird. Like very like. I mean, I guess when you're an owner, obviously you're obsessed with.
Right, but still, I mean, it's one point to be like the owner, and then another to be, I don't know, to have that attitude, like that culture in the locker room
Yeah.
is kind of weird.
And it's,
You're
it's
bringing-
basically been the same type of culture around them since he's been there,
Forever,
really.
like my entire life.
yeah,
Who the hell was their coach before McCarthy? The redheaded dude. What the hell is his name?
yeah.
Garrett? No.
Yeah, Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett. Yeah, dude. It was the same deal. I thought. Like,
Yeah, I
Could
mean,
you-
they probably were. I don't know. Seemed to be a little bit more disciplined.
yeah, true.
I mean, I feel like it wasn't as much.
But it just like since then, like there's been more nonsense. Like we just went over. Like
Yeah, there's a lot. There's
like
been a lot
letting
more.
Cooper go, the contract
You
negotiations.
think all this stuff
CD
with Dallas, like,
Lamb,
in the
like
beginning of the year with the contract stuff, with Dak and CD, and now all
the chickens just come to roost.
Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
dude. Like,
and I kind of heard you mentioning Garrett, and obviously, he defined mediocrity, but I think there is something too. Think about McCarthy. While
Mr.
he
McCarthy.
is a former Super Bowl coach, but recycling coaches
Yeah.
later in their career, how many times does that end up working out? Where you recapture that magic?
I mean, very few,
Can't think
and
of
this is
very,
evident.
like, I can't
yeah,
think
yeah,
of
Well,
literally.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's just
Yeah.
far and few between.
Yeah, McCarthy. I mean, it looks like he's gonna be interviewing for new jobs next season.
And I
Boy,
mean-
he's not going to be. I mean, maybe he'll be an assistant. I don't know if he wants to be an assistant, but he's not going to get a head
coach
coaching
job?
position. No
Yeah,
way.
I mean, I guess yeah.
No way,
No
dude.
way,
right?
dude.
No way.
Oh my God! Isn't that, the Colts looks like Montgomery. No, who the hell's the running back? Doesn't really matter. Taylor
Taylor
fumbled.
with the fumble.
I don't know if it was
Taylor.
during the exchange or whatnot. It looked like
Did they signal?
Yes, signaled, recovered.
Vikings
Vikings
ball.
going back the other way.
Wow.
I don't know what happened during the
Purple
exchange
people
here.
eaters.
If it was maybe
There he is.
Flacco's
They
fault, but it
are.
looked like it bounced right off of Montgomery.
wow.
Taylor.
And then it
Keep saying
kicked.
Montgomery.
Yeah, you
Kicked.
keep saying Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Same
Because his name is Taylor Montgomery. That's why. Right? Or David Montgomery. Why? I
David
keep saying
Montgomery. Taylor Montgomery. No, that's Jake Montgomery with ESPN. I was trying to figure out.
Like what the
No.
fuck I'm talking about?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what's
Um,
interesting? Besides, obviously, Jerry stepping back, what do the Cowboys have to do?
Get rid of their coach, I think, dude.
Yeah. I mean, but and my thought is the young offensive minded coach. That's what they need.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have hired Kellen Moore, honestly.
You know who they should get? Because they've had luck with coaches with the last name Johnson. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator, Detroit Lions. You're telling me him instilling those philosophies of running the football, gritty runs. I really think that would do wonders. Plus, I mean, they do pass the ball pretty well with Jared Goff.
You think
in
he would
addition to
leave
that.
Detroit?
I mean,
Head
for a
coaching job?
position, but maybe he's here. He's concerned about Jerry. With the grip on his bulls potentially. that is a big deterrent for these prospective coaches, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to be like on the same page with your owner, no doubt. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to think about, but I guess we'll see. I don't know. I mean, you think any chance that McCarthy sticks around?
No
Definitely
way.
not.
No way. Right? Not a chance.
No way, dude.
0% chance. Yeah, I think this season is spiraling for them very quickly.
I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
No, definitely not. I think Washington ends up winning the division, maybe
Yeah.
Eagles wild card. With the Falcons, though, I mean, are they for real? I mean, obviously Raheem Morris has done a nice job. We talked about how good Cousins has been. I mean, it seems like they're going to win the NFC South because the Bucs are in shambles. Saints, Panthers, we know all about them. I mean, are they contender in your guys' eyes?
I mean, I guess so. You mentioned, their coach has been doing a great job. I think it's just a matter of this team, living or dying by Kirk Cousins. I mean, if he shows up and he does well, I think they have a great shot. And I mean, you want to look forward on their schedule. I mean, they got Saints Broncos the next 2 weeks, both on the road, but you would imagine Saints, you can handle that. Broncos put up a fight, but at the end of the day, I would imagine they win that. Then they're back against the Chargers, winnable game. And then you're on the road again. Vikings could be a loss, but then you're versus the Raiders, the Giants, Commanders, Panthers. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, you're going 5-3 in your next 8 games.
Yeah, 5 wins. You have 6 now, 11.
Like that's exactly what you need to make the playoffs. Yeah. And then again, if you're in
a first down pass,
and
I don't know if that picks up a first down. Looks like it was to the tight end, number 84 here for Sam Darnold.
And
also, I mean, we know, and I know it was against Philadelphia, but we did have Cousins kind of going against that weakness in the prime time, with that win on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. So, this could be a very good year, and I know Arthur Blank, is just desperate to get back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, that could be a stretch, and it is a first down, by the way. As we approach the 3-minute mark in the first quarter in terms of how far we are into it. Darnold getting ready here. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how far the Falcons can go this year. It'll also be interesting to see how far the Ravens can go. And this is a game I thought Denver would cover. It wasn't even close. 41-10. Lamar almost perfect. 16-19, 283 scores. Henry over 1,000 yards, over 100 yards in this one, 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers 5 for 127 and 2 scores. Aaron Jones picks up the first down. He's been so big for Minnesota, up to this point in the season. Mm-hmm. Any takeaway here? I mean, Denver has had one of the best defenses in the league this season, but with the Ravens, is it we know they're going to be in the playoffs. The question is, what are they doing once they're there?
Yeah, I think so. And that's kind of always been, I feel like, the sentiment for the Ravens in his past few years. We talked about, Henry before the show. I mean, he's just been dominant. I mean, There's the 100th and 101st career touchdown, today for Henry, which is great for him.
2-yard completion to Hawkinson.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think just Denver got handled. I mean, it was just another scenario here of obviously Ravens, better team on paper, more experienced quarterback here. Someone who's an electric quarterback, no doubt. I know the Broncos good defense, but when Henry's running downhill,
first down Minnesota.
You have Lamar throwing well. Lamar's running the ball as well. I know he'd have a ton of carries as you would typically see, but still, that's the threat is still there. You have to deal with on defense. And I mean, at the end of the day, it was too much to overcome. And when Bo Nix feels that pressure, young quarterback, what does he do? He forces some throws, and then, here's a pick,
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you think you're trying to, take a few steps forward, you're taking a few backward, and then it's just a slippery slope the entire game. And it just never really seemed like, even going into half, it was, 24-10. It was Ravens in command. And then at that point, I mean, it just never stopped. I mean, they shut you out second half. I mean, that's it.
So at the end of the day, though, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, they're 6-3 now, obviously the 0-2 start, but can this be the year that they get over the hump and make it to the Super Bowl and, dare we say, beat Kansas City or Buffalo in a playoff game?
I mean, it's interesting. Their division is a little bit tougher than last year, I think. The Bengals are going to be breathing down their necks. I would anticipate that. And then, of course, I mean, you got to mention the team that's in the lead here, the Steelers,
right?
For the AFC North. They've been working really well. So it's like, I know you're like, maybe fans of the Ravens. People are thinking, all right, it's the Ravens again. Here we go. Let's see them match up against the Chiefs. But like, oh, wait a minute. Like there's like some other competitive teams around. So I think I don't know, man. I think the Ravens will be making the playoffs. How far they go, I don't know. I could see them being a first round exit.
Or you could see him making it to the AFC Championship
Yeah, of
game,
course.
and then
Yeah,
at
I
the
mean,
end,
it's interesting. I mean, at that point, I mean, you're in uncharted territory for the Ravens, I feel, because you haven't seen them go that far because they always end up blowing it fourth quarter, late
first
season,
down
whatever.
Minnesota
Gets the first
they're
down.
getting very deep. I think in the
That-
red zone now, if
That
I'm not
division will
mistaken.
be interesting the way that shakes out the AFC North.
Kind of wild, right?
Steelers.
Right?
I
I mean, I think,
Ravens.
you know,
I think the
yeah,
Bengals are probably out of it, but we'll probably make it as a wild card. But those,
I
two
was
teams.
going to say I could see the Steelers slipping
yeah.
to the wild card.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the Bengals going on a little run and you know.
But I mean, for them to win the division, 5 losses already. I mean, they probably
yeah,
have to like
so
almost run the
maybe
table.
two.
Yeah.
You think
So-
they get you 2 wild cards then out of there.
Yeah, I think
Them and
all 3
Steelers and
teams make
Cincinnati.
make
And dude,
the playoffs.
speaking of these
Yeah.
2 teams, next week Ravens at home against the Bengals. Week after that on the road against the Steelers.
So yeah,
So-
we'll get good litmus tests there.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the next 3 weeks or next 2 weeks, really.
And you know,
For
remember
the Ravens
too,
are huge.
that first matchup with the Ravens and Cincinnati. That was a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
That was pretty epic. But it ended up going to OT.
Yeah, and then
Right,
field
and then-
goal, right?
Yeah,
Field goal,
yeah. High scoring game, like 37, 34,
41.
something like that.
I think there was I think they won with 41 points, right?
So it's like an
41,
automatic
38.
first down here, defensive holding on the Colts.
I hate to see that. No,
Colts are a
96,
mess.
Mr. Brian.
But what do you think though? I mean, you think they have a shot to make it to the Super Bowl this year? I mean, they look as good as they've looked.
Yeah, if they stay within themselves, dude, and don't
Defense
shoot
maybe
and
is a
don't
problem,
shoot
though.
themselves in the foot,
Yeah, true.
then I think they can go far, dude. I could see them going to the Super Bowl and you know, hopefully just learning from the last few seasons, the earlier exits that they've had.
Yeah.
And you know, because last year, look at the game against
Kansas.
it all started when we were in Kansas. And and yeah, I mean, you know, they lost. I think they lost that game more so than the Chiefs winning it. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
But-
hopefully Baltimore can just stay within themselves and just stay disciplined. And now you have Derrick Henry, who's just an absolute beast. And you know, that RPO with him and Lamar, I think that can take them pretty far, dude. Honestly.
It's interesting though. In the past, you think Baltimore defense, but if they're going to get to a Super Bowl this year, it's going to be the offense because the
Yeah.
defense. I think the
Yep.
past defense might even be in the bottom 5 in the entire league. They've done well against the run, but very odd
That's
for a
wild.
Baltimore team.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, normally their secondary is like tip top.
Yeah, exactly. So I know they've had some injuries as well, so that will be key. But I mean, I just think having Derrick Henry there, and I know in the past with Tennessee, and I don't know if it was more so, you know, teams
Darnold
game
rolling out
planning
here,
for
throwing one.
him
It's
as
picked off in the end zone.
Darnold
What the hell was he
with
looking
the
at?
interception here, so it's going to be the Colts, I believe, at the 20, getting the ball. But that was a terrible throw. But what I was saying is Henry playoffs that one year they went to the AFC Championship game. Tannehill, Henry, you know, I think teams were game planning for Derrick Henry, but now he's in the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. I think it opens him up more. And it gives him his best shot to make it to a Super Bowl. But obviously, time will tell.
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna see there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, you know, a couple weeks could be huge for them. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Like, you think there's more of a chance of them making the Super Bowl than them like getting knocked out early in the playoffs?
Probably getting knocked out early in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know. Like I know we're all tired of it, but like they're in Arrowhead AFC Championship game. I mean, do you guys see them winning?
I don't think so.
No,
Right? It's just
I don't think so.
particularly.
Yeah. So
We never
guess-
know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see
keep
what
it close.
happens.
I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's tough, obviously, to win there. We know, so especially during that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting.
Other side, Denver, you know, kind of surprised people. Obviously, they lose by 31 here. 5-4, you know, don't really have like a signature win. Is it one of those things where you know, they'll probably take care of business against the lesser teams, but you know, like you play the Ravens, you got the Chiefs this week, the Falcons after that. You'll go against those teams. They're probably not ready just yet to compete.
Yeah, I think what you said pretty much hits the nail on the head here for the Broncos. I mean, you know, they have what seems to be a pretty comparable quarterback in Bo Nix.
Yeah, obviously a rookie, still learning.
Exactly. It's exactly that. It's an interesting scenario there for Denver to handle. And I mean, in terms of their receivers, Sutton, Reynolds, Humphrey, Javonte Williams. I mean, there's work that can be done. I think with the receiving core, there's work that can be done in terms of, Bo Nix, what he sees in the field, how he slows the game down. I think there's a lot of different things they can definitely like harp on to improve the team. And I don't know. I mean, I guess their defense is pretty solid, I suppose. I do like Alex Singleton, their linebacker, pretty solid linebacker.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens down the stretch of the season here. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a good story though, because they obviously weren't expected to really be competitive, and they are over 500 past the midpoint in the season.
Yeah.
And we watched the conclusion of this game here. The Eagles 28-23 over Jacksonville. So they're 6-2, half game behind Washington for first place, in the NFC East. Saquon, it seems like every time you look up, he has a big game.
Unbelievable.
159 yards rushing and a score.
Giants are kicking themselves there.
And Jonathan Taylor picking up the first down. And he also had 3 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. It's interesting the element that he's brought to this team this year. They replaced DeAndre Swift with him, and it's been such a big upgrade. Hurts, has done better this year. It seems like with the interceptions, didn't throw any this game, had a rushing touchdown, 2 passing touchdowns. I mean, are the Eagles? I mean, I know AJ Brown left with an injury, but do you think they've kind of figured things out after a really tough bottom or back half of the season last year?
Yeah. I think that back half of the season was very tough, carried over to this season, no doubt, with the injuries as well, which is why you see, Hurts only, 8 passing touchdowns. But you said it, only 4 interceptions here. And I know, again, not a lot of scoring, but keeping the interceptions down, I think, is huge. And I know Jacksonville, kind of almost came away with this one here. And I know their record shows them to be very bad at 2-7 now, but
yeah,
I mean, they still are a formidable opponent. Like
probably
Lawrence,
the best 2-7 team.
Literally, which is so funny to say that. Yeah, which is so funny. So I think at the end of the day, Hurts got the job done. Late in that game, he's making big plays. He's scrambling. He's rushing, getting the first downs, going out of bounds, making the big throw. I mean, no doubt in my mind that Hurts was a big reason why they won this game. Obviously, coupled with Barkley as well. Because he had 1 rushing, 1 receiving touchdown. Yeah, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. I mean, that's huge, dude. I mean, you said it. Barkley, it seems like every game, is making a headline, having well over 100 yards on the ground. Just fucking being his best self right now. But speaking of the injuries they had to suffer, Devonta Smith was in there, 4 receptions, 87 yards with the receiving touchdown. I mean, that was someone they missed at the beginning of the year, which is why, I know Eagles record is still great, 6-2. But imagine if they were humming like this all season, totally healthy, they could be an undefeated team as well. So I think Eagles, almost like the Ravens, seem like to have a very good shot at getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it was ironic. We talked about this before the show. Everyone very, leery of giving big dollars to free agent running backs, and the top 2 from this past year, paying dividends, Tony.
Dude, I mean, that's an understatement. I mean,
yeah.
It really is crazy to think about that. And I wonder, Brian, do you think it's going to do you think Barkley and Henry, between those 2 running backs, what they look like this year, do you think that's going to change a little bit of the way that coaches maybe look at running backs?
I think, and I think the key with Barkley is, he's still in his 20s, a little younger. Henry, I think people were, leery of because of the age, the mile on the tire. So I think it's very specific fits. And I think the key is you wouldn't sign one of these guys if you weren't a team that was expected to not only be in the playoffs, but have the potential to go on a run in the playoffs. And I think that is why this has worked so well.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I mean, I think that, not for nothing, I think that watching these games, great shot, Jeff. Oh my gosh, dude. Jeff almost made a 6 shot, Mike. You missed it, dude, but he didn't make it. I think that football is more fun to watch when there's a good running back who can have significant yardage gained every carry, has the ability to make a big play. It just creates a different dynamic in the game that just makes it really more enjoyable.
Yeah,
I love that, dude.
Absolutely. So the Eagles, next week are going to be at Dallas. So that'll be a 4:25. I'm sure Tommy will be announcing that one. But
yeah, I guess so.
you would think they wouldn't have any trouble with the boys. We'll see. You never know. Desperate, situations. You never know, what'll happen there. On the other side of things, Jacksonville, I mean, you could say season over at 2-7. Seems like Doug Peterson, dead man walking. Lawrence coming into this game had been playing well. And there's a lot of talent in the rest of the team. The rookie wide receiver from LSU, Brian Thomas, not to mention Travis Etienne, Evan Ingram. So it seems like some of the guys are there you can move forward with, but I guess, you start with the head coach, and you would think, given the results this season, I mean, is it as simple as Peterson has lost the locker room?
I mean, I guess, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I like Peterson.
I've always have, but
yeah,
I mean, this is terrible.
I know it really is, dude.
Yeah.
Atrocious. And I mean, like, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. I would not. I mean, it's gonna have to be Peterson, I guess, right? Like, it wouldn't be anyone else. Wouldn't be Lawrence. Wouldn't be. Like, it doesn't seem like, again, as far as we know, like, there's not any issues necessarily in the locker room between players. So it's like, what really is the issue? Why aren't the Jaguars? Like, how are you not able to score anything for the first half?
Yeah, and maybe it's again that scenario where, okay, against lesser opponents, that's easy, but when something complex, we're not able to fight through that.
I guess we'll see. I mean, you said it, looking at their schedule, like the wins they had this year, only the 2-1s, Colts, Patriots. We know where they are at. But yeah, just getting blown out by the Bills. Obviously, tough game here against the Eagles.
Jordan Addison, the end around. Vikings got the ball back on a punt. Looks like that's good enough for a first down.
Would you have anticipated that 4 minutes left in the first quarter and there's no scoring?
Well, when you turn the ball over, how are you supposed to score, right?
No, that's right.
Well, no, I would have thought by now there would be.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily indicative of how much scoring we're going to get for the rest of this game.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. But those were, some interest, a couple of turnovers. So that always makes a difference. What was your guys' thoughts on the Cardinals? Now 5-4, one of the worst teams in the league last season. That gave them the ability to draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
But Kyler Murray only throws for $154, but they run the ball for 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, and defeat Chicago, who coming into this game, everyone felt like had one of the best defenses in the league, 29-9. So is it the question? I guess I would say is it time to take the Cards seriously, or you think pump the brakes for a second?
They got a lot of talent, so I mean, I think they're definitely
the Cardinals
force to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, again, Murray looks good. He's a mobile quarterback. It does seem like that the the Bears, have issues with mobile quarterbacks. Their loss last week to the Commanders. We know Daniels could be a very elusive quarterback. Same thing when they lost to the Texans as well. Maybe they just can't contain the QB as well as other teams. Because like you said, I mean, their defense, normally is regarded pretty good. And the Cardinals, in my opinion, I mean, aren't anything to write home about. You mentioned Kyler Murray, having the
a big catch here for Justin Jefferson. The Vikings, once again, in Colts territory. Can Darnold avoid that proverbial turnover here?
It's so amazing that I feel like in any big moment, like if you go to receiver, whatever, I feel like it's Jefferson more often than not. That's just that, like, guaranteed catch guy.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Really
he's not going to drop it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you love that. Double coverage, too. Love that, dude. I mean, he's got just so much confidence in the middle of the field. He's jumping up, grabbing that ball. Regardless here, speaking of jumping up, grabbing the ball, the Cardinals, not a lot of receiving yards. It does seem like it is spread around. Maybe that's what the Cardinals have going for them. I mean, you're looking at, 4 receivers all within the, the mid 30-yard range. And obviously, like, no throwing touchdowns, no receiving touchdowns, I should say, which is kind of wild. Obviously, all those touchdowns, the 3 touchdowns they had were on the ground. So pretty wild, dude. I would say Cards, in terms of being serious, I don't know. I mean, I guess they've had some surprising win. Actually, no, not. I guess maybe Niners was at week 5. That was an upset 24-23.
Chargers. I mean, I think people look at the Chargers as a better team. The Rams
Yeah.
41-10. I mean, I know.
Yeah, but that was
once we had
week
the
2
injuries with the Rams.
They were with injuries. They're in shambles. I think if they play the Rams again, they're probably going to lose, which they do play them, I think,
week
week
17.
So, again, that should be interesting. And again, even the Niners, maybe they're in that was week 5. Maybe they're still figuring out their injury thing, too. I mean, Chargers aren't believable. Dolphins are trash. Bears. This is an emphatic win, I would say, maybe is the one outlier where maybe they're going in the right direction. Thankfully for Arizona, they also have the Jets to face next week. So it could be like a nice, also like, let's ramp it up, 2 weeks, figure out our offense sort of deal. But then again, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. I think for the Arizona, I'm still in the same place as I was doing the divisional previews. They're up in the air. They're a middling team for me. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens, but I'm not high on them by any means.
Well, I think, James Conner, probably one of the more underrated backs in the league, had over 100 yards today. But I think the biggest thing is, I mean, they haven't really unleashed Marvin Harrison Jr. yet. Only 2 catches today. Yeah. I think 400 yards on the year. We know he could be one of the best receivers in the league by the end of the season. So, you get that going. Trey McBride, I think a lot of people don't realize how good he is. He had a rushing touchdown in this game, but you think about those 2 guys plus some of the other skill players they have, this can be a really good offense, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they have 9 or 10 wins by the end of the year.
Interesting. Now, I mean, we're talking about this division. We mentioned the Rams, the 49ers, both at 4-4, both tough starts of the year, finding themselves. The Cards are atop here, NFC West at 5-4. At the end of the day, who wins this division, you think?
San Francisco. Big run, second half. Too talented, right? Or no, I know I oops out.
No.
Doesn't matter. Kyle Shanahan, right?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think, Niners certainly have what it takes to win this division.
McCaffrey hasn't played.
But then, I mean, again, you think about, like, Niners, big second half. I would anticipate a Rams big second half. Are they going to be third, the Cardinals, in this division?
Could be. And hold that thought for 1 second. We have Michael Butka here saying, Matty G, a.k.a. Marty McFly. And then he also goes, Barnes, have you ever heard of Hermosa Beach?
Oh, my God.
Sounds familiar, Michael? But I haven't been there.
How am I Marty McFly?
Dude. Think McFly.
Think about it.
Could someone explain this?
I got nothing, dude. I don't know.
No, I really don't know. Marty McFly is who again? Oh, from
Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox.
I guess I'm Marty McFly.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's a good character.
Well, golly.
Golly, dude.
What did you guys, make of the Lions here? Beating the Packers in Lambeau, 24-14.
Not
the rainy conditions. They hobbled Jordan Love. Jared Goff, I think he only threw for 85 yards last week. Threw for 145 this week, but they run for 124 yards on the ground, get an interception, and then have 3 fumbles. So 3 takeaways for this Detroit defense. I mean, we're 7-1 here. I mean, it seems like they've really been physical with teams and beating them down. And there's some stat where every team that they beat, they lose the next week, I guess, because they're like so battered from the physical style the Lions play. I mean, Lions have really picked up where they left off last season in the NFC Championship.
And, those stats make sense. They do play a very hard game. They're undefeated on the road this year. And we spoke about that on Friday, and we were thinking, Lions on the road are good, but Lambeau, different story. But I think this rain game
so much
really got in the heads here of Jordan Love and company here. I mean, I feel like, obviously Lions, you would think they lick their chops at rain games with the amount of running they like to do. And you saw that with Jahmyr Gibbs, with David Montgomery here. Obviously, Packers do the same thing, Josh Jacobs. But I think at the end of the day, that pick by Love, obviously, he did okay, 273 through the air, which is great. But I think Jordan Love was still trying to play his game in this scenario.
Bless you.
And when the rain is that, torrential and stuff, I feel like you have to adjust your game a little bit here. And that's what Jared Goff did. I think Jared Goff showed that, I've been here before in a rain game. I know how to win in a rain game. At that point, you're you're almost playing more of the elements rather than, just the team in front of you. That's what Goff did. And I think that's why they won, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think they're dangerous, and I think they'll add some help, especially with like the pass rush before the trade deadline. Obviously Aiden Hutchinson, that was a huge loss, but the way they can run the ball, I think Jared Goff is playing the best football of his career, and you know about Laporta and St. Brown at receiver, Gibbs, Montgomery in the backfield. I think they're a tough out, and I think hands down, they end up winning this division. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get over the hump this year, finally get to a Super Bowl. And I think the Packers will be okay. I know this is a tough loss, but I think the key is let Love, return to health. And I could be mistaken, but I believe that the Packers are on a bye next week. So he'll be able to heal up. And then they have the oldest rivalry in the NFL with the Bears resuming a 1:00 game on November 17th.
That's great, dude. Packers Bears?
Yeah. I think that'll be a good one. And I think, like I said, I think they'll be fine, but just make sure that Love is healthy. If Malik Willis needs to get a start or two here, that's fine. You just need Jordan Love down the stretch.
Yeah, he was, kind of questionable going into this weekend as well. So, I think having that bye week is pretty huge. It is tough that you go into the bye week on the loss here to the Lions, but like you said, Jordan Love, just figured out. Flacco looks like he's having a few miscues.
No, he doesn't look as sharp as we've seen in previous games.
And that's why Indianapolis went 3-and-out.
Oh, wow. I didn't even – was it just me or was that series 30 seconds?
30 seconds, literally. They went 3-and-out.
This punt going out
Great
of bounds looks like at about the 25.5-yard line. So the Vikings will see if they can finally get something going on offense. Looking over the other games today, I know we were watching the conclusion of this one, but just summarizing it here, the Rams 26-20 over the Seahawks, a game where it almost felt like the Seahawks couldn't have handed it more to the Rams. The 3 interceptions, getting stopped at fourth down in overtime. But I still think that shouldn't take away from, what the Rams have been doing here. The tough start to the season at 1-3 to battle back at 4-4 and have that, combination that's won you a Super Bowl with Stafford, Kupp, and Sean McVay as the Vikings pick up a first down here, almost at the 40-yard line, approaching midfield. But I think the Rams are a threat. I love Kyron Williams. They've barely used rookie running back from Michigan, Blake Corum. But you think about that. You think about, when Nakua and Kupp, you could say, are definitely healthy. I know Nakua is banged up. Kupp's healthy. He had over 100 yards. But I think the Rams are a real threat here.
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier on. They no doubt are. It's going to be tough to stop them, especially when that team gets rolling. It's – I don't know, dude. I know – yeah, I don't know. They're going to be great as long as they're healthy, I suppose.
Yeah, the receivers can stay
probably
healthy.
The only thing that would stop them.
2 touchdowns, though, for Demarcus Robinson. He's played in a lot of big games with the Chiefs.
Yeah, right.
That's impressive the way they've been able to climb back in it, dude. They're 500 now. They had some tough losses.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of talent on that team, too. And they've had injuries, obviously, too. So, it's definitely impressive. 4-4.
And I think Matthew Stafford is one of the toughest quarterbacks in the whole league. He's had injuries and stuff, and he just doesn't miss games, and he steps up at the biggest moments. So I'm really rooting for them to make it to the playoffs here and make a run. And kind of like, what we already talked about. By the way, too, Monday Night Football next week, Dolphins and Rams. So, an opportunity there for the Rams to pick up another win, you would think.
Oh, yeah.
The Dolphins haven't looked great. But, as we were talking about before, the Seahawks, lots of talent. A coach in Mike McDonald, I think, where there are some expectations, but it just doesn't seem like, even after a 3-0 start, to lose 4 out of 5 after that this is going to be the year. And maybe Geno, even though he looks pretty good at times, as the Vikings pick up a first down, but there's a flag
on the field.
It just doesn't seem like it's going to be this year.
For Seattle?
I don't think so. I think they kind
Geno, I think it just – you need it better. He's good, but he's not great. He's
No,
should be
definitely
more
not.
of a backup, I feel
Yeah.
like. Top end backup,
Yeah.
honestly.
Wow, top end backup. That's tough, dude. I mean,
Well, I mean, he had a good run like last season, especially. And
But they don't make the
Yeah.
playoffs last season,
Yeah.
and then we look at this season, right? I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, it is tough. I mean, his level of play isn't as high. I mean, the turnovers, he had 3 today, which
3rd and 16 now for the Vikings after that holding call.
I mean,
And then
not
2
great.
in the red zone, 1 was a pick
2 in
six.
the red
I
zone.
mean,
Yeah,
how are you
can't-
going to win games if you're doing that?
You
You're
can't
not.
win games.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, you think about, especially when games are close like this. That was kind of a
That
crazy
is a
play.
first
Wow.
down. Aaron Jones, man, it's unbelievable too. I think he's 30, 31 years old, looking as effective as ever.
Yeah, again, I mean, kind of crazy too. Like the Vikings kind of bet on him to be good out of the backfield, and I mean, he is. What a cool play!
And I didn't even realize because
Yeah,
I guess I
throw
looked
to
away for a
Jefferson.
second.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Jefferson threw that pass.
Yeah, so kind of crazy. Definitely a little bit of a trick play on the 3rd and 16. But hey, I mean, that's a great play call by the coach, and obviously, something they practiced for that specific scenario, Matthew, and they got the first down.
yeah, I was just looking fantasy real quick, and
Oh, nice, dude.
Wow, yeah, I saw that before. I was hoping to be like, oh, dude, you won this week. And then,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
Oh, ball is out. Flag is thrown, though. Doesn't seem to be a whistle. No, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Like, I think they threw the flag because Darnold was in a headlock, I think. Which I don't know about that, dude. He could have even
big
been
boy
down
right
already.
there.
I don't know. Wow, dude, they called a touchdown on the field. Obviously, they got to review it.
I
What's the flag?
missed the start
Here's
of
the
that
replay
play.
right here. You see him penetrate. He literally clotheslines Darnold,
Wow.
and the ball goes
Fucked him.
loose.
I don't see a flag on that.
They threw the flag right after this.
Face mask, maybe.
Or they
Not
picked
even.
it up, maybe. Maybe they picked it up.
They made some call last week that was like, it wasn't like a high tackle, but it was like something like that. Like you hit the quarterback too high. Like
Boy,
around the
Darnold
neck.
with 2 crucial turnovers here
Yeah, early.
to start this game.
Yeah.
Vikings find themselves down 6-0, pending the extra point here. See if Matt
Oh my God.
Gay
They
can put it
didn't
through the
review it or
uprights.
anything. So what was the flag? There was no flag.
No, I think they had
picked
thrown
it
the
up.
flag because they thought it was a face mask.
Yeah.
And the extra point is up and good. So Vikings find
Just like
themselves
that.
in a 7-0 hole. And while we were waiting for the for them to get the ball back here, do you feel bad for Zach after the Saints 7 straight loss here, losing to lowly Carolina? Bryce Young. Now the Panthers 2-7.
Yeah, I mean, on Thursday, I guess it was, Zach and I kind of laid down the Saints season, like what they have to do to like make it pretty competitive. Obviously, winning every game they could is a part of that one. And this was one of the games where like they could win this one. But obviously they didn't here. So, I mean, dude, yeah, this is a huge loss. I think obviously down the stretch of this game, I mean, Chuba Hubbard was making a pretty big impact, 15 carries, 72 yards. Late in the game, he was 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think he had one late in the game. And I mean, again, you want to think about that type of rusher on your roster here. Normally, you would see that, or at least Alvin Kamara would see that and laugh at it. I mean, obviously, 30 carries, 155 on the ground, but I mean, no touchdowns, and he's your top receiver. I mean, you got to figure out a different way to kind of score here,
Yeah.
to be a little bit more effective on the ground. Derek Carr, some big spots. He's not making necessary throws. So, I mean, that's kind of how you lose this game here. And, I mean, I guess in my opinion, it's better for the Panthers to start Bryce Young. I hate because Dalton, the hand, the car accident, even though everyone's fine, everything like that, even though he seems like he's fine. Who knows with Carolina? Maybe they're just starting Bryce Young just because they want to, saying Dalton, it's to the hand, whatever. I mean, I would still be starting Bryce Young, but 16 of 26 through the air, 171 through the air, and the touchdown. Only sacked once. Not for nothing, if I'm the Saints defense and I'm playing the Panthers, like I should be getting at least 3-4 sacks, right? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
No, this isn't good. And I mean, I kind of have to say, though, I did know it when they signed Derek Carr. I just didn't think it made sense. I didn't think promoting Dennis Allen to head coach made sense, and then
Not
keeping him.
good.
So I think those are the things you have to do. And like, you're gonna have Kamara, you're gonna have Marcus Lattimore, and obviously they had the terrible injury to Olave. He tweeted that he's okay, but who knows? Does he miss the regular season?
And Michael Thomas was ripping Derek Carr.
Yeah, I saw that as well. So just not great there, but I think you got to start head coach, quarterback, get that right, rest and follow. Obviously, the Panthers still may need to do that themselves, because Bryce Young, while he won the game, you've benched him for Andy Dalton. We've seen how quick teams are on pulling the trigger with these young quarterbacks. He's got to play well if he wants to stay in Carolina past this year.
Yeah, the taste of Bryce Young in everyone's mouth is a little sour, I would think. Especially because I feel like people, like, when they heard Dalton was starting, they were clamoring for him, right? They were all about it.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had a great stat line his first game too. So I don't know. But again, you're the Panthers organization. The same thing with Flacco. Like, what are you looking for in terms of your future? Like, Dalton's not going to be the future of your team.
Well, at least Flacco, it makes sense. You want to just have a desperate cry for the playoffs. Panthers, they knew they weren't making the playoffs. So I just think that's once again, the ineptitude of David Tepper since he's bought the team. It's been a mess, and I feel like it's a shame. Pretty good stadium there, pretty good area to have a team in Charlotte. I think the fans are ready to win again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have the right quarterback.
You don't.
It's been tough.
You need a new quarterback, dude.
Make that big trade too to get him.
And it's interesting though. Do you think he's just like shook and like this is it, or do you think he needs to just maybe go somewhere else and then we can see the Bryce Young we saw at Alabama?
Yeah, I think if he went somewhere else, he just needs kind of like a fresh start. It seems.
I think so. So I was looking at Josh B's comment. If that was Mahomes, they would have gotten 14 points and the ball back.
14 might be a stretch, but we get the point.
I think if that was Mahomes and he got close like that, there would be a flag on that play, and you see the ball get brought back. Josh B knows his stuff, dude. That's why he's Josh B.
Yeah. Darnold dropping back, 2nd and 7. That is a completion there. So he first down. So can the Vikings make it through Indianapolis territory here? But I was kind of asking Matt, and your thoughts with Young. Is it you think he can recover somewhere else, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think he can recover somewhere else. I think I don't know. I feel for him, dude. We spoke a little bit about what quarterbacks are looking like in this league. I think earlier last week, using the Packers as an example of being a team that brings in a young guy and has him sit behind a veteran for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, you get Aaron Rodgers coming out, you get Jordan Love coming out, and you're looking like how to like properly like shape a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Obviously Bryce Young being thrown into a scenario with the Panthers where it's like, hey, you got to be good right now. We're going to throw you to the flames. And on top of that, when you don't do well, we're going to ridicule you and bench you. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I didn't expect that too, because the whole reason coach Dave Canales was brought in, the work he had done with Baker, and I think actually
Mr.
Gino,
Mayfield
before that, I didn't see what the point of benching Bryce Young was in the first place. But then that you did that, it kind of just seems like, how is this going to work out long term in Carolina?
It's not.
Doesn't so I think
maybe
it would be
the Giants
best for both parties. And I saw that. I don't know. Did you see that too?
I'm looking at it right now.
That would be interesting. And I would think, the way that
that would be a good.
The way that he's played as the Vikings, I don't know if there's short Vikings.
What?
If the Giants traded for Bryce
Young, that would be sick.
Well, but I would think you could get him for even though Carolina give up everything for him, I think you could get him for like a 4th rounder.
You'd also have to think the Giants are probably planning to just have a shit season and draft their own.
But I think that's why you trade for Bryce Young, because he gives you that ability to potentially lose every game once you get him.
True.
And then if he's good, you got a young 23-year-old, 24-year-old quarterback.
Yeah, which would be great. And I think he would be.
It just looks like they're going to go for it.
Right call.
But they've obviously struggled to advance, but there's a timeout. I don't know if it's fouls or if it's one of those red 80 and then they don't hike it and delay a game.
I don't know, man. Whenever there's like a big moment, like a 3rd and long, 3rd and short, 4th and short, and like offenses are calling a timeout, I don't know. I just feel like it's like a surefire. Like, you guys don't know like what's going on.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
there's
it's
some
annoying though. It
disorganization,
just like it slows down the game, and
Right.
it's just like, can we just keep going?
and it's just like, yeah, you telling me, come on, dude, you can just figure
Come
it
on,
out.
dude.
Like the play, like, you don't have a play. Like, there should be a snap call for 4th and 2. We're going with this play right now. Like this is it.
Yeah,
Like you guys
Yeah.
have to have that, and the fact that there's a timeout makes you think that there's confusion, miscommunication, and then like you said, it kills your momentum. And now we're going for it, and it's like, are we gonna make it? And we're fucking QB sneaking it,
and it is a first down.
and it's like, why did you take a timeout? Like, what was the confusion there? Why can't it just be QB sneak?
Yeah,
Just go
these
for it.
wasted timeouts, letting the play clock run down, really is atrocious. But you think any hope for Young? You think right situation he recovers?
Yes,
or?
I absolutely do think so.
Yeah,
Is that in New York with the Giants though? I don't know, dude.
Don't know.
Because the Giants
I mean,
are-
Talk about
he
right
get ripped apart.
situation.
He would get
Yeah,
ripped apart
dude.
here.
yeah.
I mean, you
if,
think of teams that need a quarterback.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I
Struggles
don't know,
continue.
dude. It's tough.
But you would think Carolina, despite the win today, would want to lose as many games as possible.
Maybe he
Get
goes to
position,
Miami.
to draft a quarterback. Yeah,
Miami
I mean,
would be
I
interesting.
And then they
mean,
can blow it like that with that.
no, but Mike McDaniel, though, I mean, I think would be a good coach for Bryce Young.
I think so too, dude. And not for nothing. Is their backup Mike White? Is that their backup in Miami?
I believe so.
Or
At least one of them, right? It
not
was
anymore.
Mike White
Wait,
at some
last
point.
year, but then he
Yeah,
went somewhere else this year.
Ah,
Forgot where he went.
Michael White.
I'm gonna look it up.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like he's not on Miami anymore.
He is
Raiders?
on the Bills.
from
Of
the
course.
Bills.
Staying in the division.
Just
Wow,
bounce around
dude.
the AFC. East,
I
I'm sure.
guess looks like the second string quarterback is Skylar Thompson.
Yes,
Oh.
he started a playoff
He did.
game. Was it
2 years ago?
2 years. 2 years ago, yes.
Yeah, interesting. Kansas State, 27 years old.
Darnold with the completion. So another third down coming up. Vikes look like they're at about field goal range.
The Vikes.
That's right, dude.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Never really heard anyone abbreviate Vikings like that.
Searching, Michael. Right?
What are you kidding?
I mean, give us something here, Michael. No?
No, Michael's got nothing. He's cold. It's all right, dude. He's locked in, typing something up. Maybe it's his will.
So I don't know what this game means. And it is kind of funny though. I have to say, because I was kind of poking fun at the two games, the Saints and the Panthers, and then the Titans Patriots. Actually had one of the more like closer games of the day.
Right.
So it's kind of funny that there was some drama. But the Titans win 20-17. Pollard has over 100 yards, but I mean they're 2-6. Patriots are 2-7. It's like at this point, I mean,
It's
what are the teams doing?
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, 2 first-year head coaches, and I have to say, I don't think either has done a great job.
No, I mean, needless to say, I mean, you're right. No good job.
Mason Rudolph, I mean, I know he looks like he's played pretty well with the Titans, but I've always thought he sucks, honestly.
What the hell is wrong with Mike Vrabel, dude? Like, what the hell, man?
And
Good? No good.
No good.
Wow.
Boy, a tough start here for
Yeah.
the
Wow.
Vikings.
They just
Wow.
showed
I have
the
a
graphic
feeling
too.
they're gonna come out in the second half though and just tear it up.
They could, and the Colts collapsing down the
Yep.
stretch. We've all seen this before.
You remember
Yeah.
too, a couple seasons ago, the biggest comeback in history of the NFL.
Yeah, the
It was
Vikings
this
against the
matchup.
Colts.
Well, I was just gonna say they just
Yeah.
showed that before.
Was it 20-0 at
Um,
halftime?
20-0 at halftime, and they ended up winning
And then they went up even more.
39-36. They won by
Yeah.
a field goal at the
Yeah.
end. Like,
Like 39-36.
yeah, something like that, dude, which was kind of wild. But
Yeah.
then there it is, the Vikings kicker missing a field goal.
If I were the Titans, though, just going back to this game for a second, they get the win. They're 2-6. You got a first-year head coach there in Brian Callahan. But I mean, after this type of game, and I think he's done pretty well this year. And you've mentioned Chestnut before; he could get more of an opportunity. I would just trade Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
honestly,
what's the benefit of having him?
there is no. I mean, other than
making the
obviously his
playoffs.
play, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like he just seems like a bit of an oddball on this roster, you
Yeah.
know, because he's a great running back. He also he should be on the fucking Cowboys. Dude.
Do you think they would bite at that or no?
Yeah, they fucking should. Especially with Zeke not showing up to shit
Yeah.
like idiots, dude. And also, like, why would they even think to sign Zeke? Not to go back to the Cowboys or anything. Like, you just got rid of him.
No, at least they got Dalvin Cook.
Like,
His 2
oh
carries
my
for 8
God.
yards. That was great for my fantasy team.
Like,
today.
unbelievable, dude. But yeah, regardless,
I don't wanna
yeah, I
hear it,
think
dude.
Pollard could be moved. And then, hey, man, Pollard's out of there, and then all of a sudden, Julius Chestnut is getting way more carries, dude.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go ahead, dude. Like click his player profile.
So
Sacred Heart University.
it's kind of crazy though. I mean, we obviously have this one game in progress, but then we're Monday Night Football, Arrowhead tomorrow, Chiefs Bucks, rematch of the Super Bowl from a few years ago. Obviously, different rosters here, especially with the Bucks. No Tommy Baker hanging in there, but things haven't looked good. Godwin out for the year. Evans not going to play. Bucky Irving also dicey for this game. I mean, the Bucks have a chance here as 9-point underdogs.
I mean, they have a chance to cover the spread.
But do they? I mean, Cade Otton, Tony?
I can see it being like a 21-14 game.
Yeah?
Yeah. 27-21.
What do you think? I mean, the Chiefs 7-0 here. Bucks.
Tough, dude.
I would think the Bucks have a great shot with Evans and Godwin, but without them,
without
them.
So
I mean, I don't know. It just seems like that Kansas City. I mean, their defense always stifles. I mean, no doubt about that. But I just feel like sometimes their offense isn't like humming that much. I mean, I guess let's look at their last 5 games. I mean, you play a team like the Raiders, you think it's going to be a blowout, and wait a minute, it's 27-20. It's like a one-score game. Same deal when they played the Chargers, 17-10. You'd imagine they handle the Chargers at home. Oh, no, they were actually on the road. But still, 17-10, Chargers are like alive in that game when they played Atlanta, like 22-17. You would think that it's more emphatic, like the margin of victory. And all these wins that the Chiefs have had, like it's been kind of low or slim, I should say. So, I guess we'll see what happens. But I would still think the Bucks make it interesting. Even without Godwin and Evans last week, they were able to put up 26 on the Falcons. I know, different team, different whatnot. But I think they can put up some points here. I think Baker is going to go down. He's not going to roll over, I don't think,
Yeah. It sucks, though, to see them go through that because I feel like this team, I mean, I think they would probably end up winning the division if they didn't have those injuries.
I think so, too.
I know, dude. Mike Evans is so freaking good.
Two big weapons, man, that are just
Godwin was having the best year of his career.
Yeah. And for Baker, you really wanted it too. Who's their running back, though? White? What's his name?
But then they have Buck.
Irving.
Uncle Buck.
Buck.
Irving, dude. Yeah, I guess it's all right.
Irving.
Maybe they can rely on some ground game here, but I don't know, man. I mean, I guess we'll see. But I would stand by, Chiefs win, but they don't cover maybe. But it's kind of wild to think that Chiefs.
I think they're going to cover
7-0.
7-0 with Mahomes having more interceptions and touchdowns.
Ridiculous.
DeAndre Hopkins in the fold now. Xavier Worthy. It seems like if they can utilize him the right way, that offense is going to get back to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
Absolutely. I mean, they will.
Pacheco coming back soon as well.
Say Pacheco.
Fremont has done an admirable job filling in as well.
Very admirable. So I don't know. I mean, any part of you worried about Kansas City?
Not particularly.
Like
in the
worried,
playoffs.
no, I mean, it's going to be one of those things because we get it. Everybody's tired of Kansas City, all the sideshows and all that stuff. But I mean, but if we're talking about our money on the line here, I mean, how would you go against them? You can't go against them. And Reed is unbelievable.
It's really tough to.
Mahomes is unbelievable, and they have a really good defense. I mean, how do you beat them?
No, I mean that's why they're 7-0, right? I mean,
yeah,
they're just like a
machine.
I mean, same thing. Every year, and despite if they lose guys or the same team
we lose Tyreek Hill. Oh yeah, we'll just go to the Super Bowl. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, so they're unbelievable, but I am sick of them. So hopefully, we'll see. But 7-0 right now, and probably gonna get a W tomorrow.
You know, it's an interesting question because I mean, obviously, all of us here, are some degree of Jets fans, and not that we, have a heavy interest in it, but provided that they don't even make the playoffs, which I think is what we're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you guys like to see win the Super Bowl?
In the Super Bowl,
or who would you like to see win it?
Other than the Jets,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the Ravens.
I wouldn't mind the Steelers.
Interesting.
TJ Watt, Russ,
Fuck
Tomlin.
Russ.
It's kind of weird, but I think it's like just from a quarterback perspective, take the team out of it, and I just feel like they're due for it. They've earned it. Not that they've earned it because they haven't done it.
The Bills?
The Bills, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's weird saying that for a division rival, but I think Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's a
You're
tough
kinda
question,
tight.
dude.
Yeah,
I also would.
I-
Imagine. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Barnes is a Bills fan now, huh? I mean, the Bengals, like that comeback too, like that would be cool.
Yes. No. I would like to see that as well. Obviously the Packers, but I don't
I would
think
like
they're
to- I would
ready.
like-
they're young.
Yeah,
They're
even though
young.
they were close
Yeah.
last year. But
I would like to see
yeah.
Lamar get one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really would.
What about you, Lamar? Or you're kind of tight. I feel like
Yeah, they can kick rocks, dude.
You want more
Wow,
of a
really that tight?
passer.
Lamar. I don't know, dude. The stupid
Um,
mistakes, the attitude,
Yeah.
the blowing it down the stretch of the year.
Yeah,
I could never handle that shit, dude.
I think did Michael Bucket try to call you?
I don't think so. Someone from Bridgeport tried to call
He
me.
said, "Yo, can I call in?"
Yeah, I just saw him comment
Senor
that too.
Buckta.
But I have bucked his, unless he's
Oh, you
calling
have his
from a
number?
payphone on Main Street.
Burner?
Like, I don't.
I mean, I don't know. Do we get his call in
Yeah.
now? Do we get it, on tomorrow's sports report? I mean, what do you think here?
Oh, yeah, we can wait till tomorrow. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
care.
I mean, I
We can
think
wait till,
because
you know,
right, I
Monday
mean, I feel
morning.
like we were just about
It's about
pretty
a wrap.
much to-
I mean, normally, I feel like first half we watch.
I mean, a
2-minute
fourth
warning,
down.
dude.
I don't know what the yardage
Take it
is.
Kinda
down.
big,
2-minute
dude.
warning.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
See what the replay
Come on,
is here.
come on, dude. Come on.
Hey, Barnes.
Come on.
I think this is a 4th and long. No,
Fourth and long?
it was 3rd and 19. I mean, he picked up like 2 yards.
Wait,
no?
really?
Thought so. Yeah, 4th
Fourth
and 18.
and
Now we'll have the
18
2-minute
here
warning.
for Indy.
Tony, that number was mine. You saw my number call.
No, Mike. You know what, Michael Buckta? What the fuck you talking about, dude?
Burner.
Honestly, yeah, that's ridiculous, Michael.
I don't think we do burners.
I have your number saved in my phone, Michael.
So he called you from a different number?
Jimmy's phone.
Maybe it was. Dude. I don't know. Maybe he's got some new
Wow,
girl, dude. He's hanging out at her house.
Oh,
She's got
my
yeah. I got my new girl.
But yeah, I think right. I mean, that's
I
We
mean,
don't take calls from random numbers.
You want to call tomorrow?
I think
Yeah,
tomorrow
call
probably
tomorrow.
makes sense.
Michael
we don't
Buckta,
wanna-
I'm
Michael,
sorry.
get a good night's rest
Yeah,
tonight, Michael.
a little
yeah,
late,
tomorrow,
dude.
call
Wake up
us 10 a.m.
refreshed. Have a little
Yeah,
coffee.
I just don't. I just don't
Wake
want him
up,
to rush
man.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want them to
Don't
rush,
rush
it. You know,
it,
focus
you
on
know
the
what I mean?
girl that you got there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Big night.
Oh,
You know,
by the
big
way,
day on Tuesday.
Nakua was tossed for throwing a punch. He
What?
didn't leave with an injury. I just saw it on ESPN.com.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So it's funny. He doesn't seem like a guy who would do that too.
No.
But
He's tight.
I guess that's what happened.
That's probably why you got me only 2 points this week.
That would be why. But that being said,
Fellas.
I mean, kind of flew by, no?
I mean, yeah, I wasn't here as long as you guys.
Seems really
but-
fucking slow to be honest. No, I'm kidding. It is fly by.
No, like I think one of the quickest ever. I want to say.
Really?
Ever,
You don't
ever.
think
I
so?
know. No, I wouldn't say quick.
Well, think about too the last few weeks
Ever.
with the show. It's been the home stretch of baseball season. There was a lot of big games going on here while we were
Yeah.
here the last few
True,
episodes.
true.
So,
a lot of big games, dude.
but now there's not.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yep.
Season's over, dude.
There's not. It's a moment of clarity, dude, right? Right, Michael?
oh, so now Bonds has clarity. Wow.
No shit, huh?
We got
But,
Dan Campbell here for Applebee's, huh?
but what I would say
Probably had
is
17
that
cups of coffee.
while it's a big show today,
Yeah.
big show coming up tomorrow. Obviously,
Yeah,
we'll
man.
talk about New York Rangers, big rivalry, game
W.
victory here today against the Islanders. We'll talk about that, as well as the
Nice.
conclusion of this game and previewing Monday night and the rest of the hockey games, sprinkling some NBA. But I have to say, this has been a pleasure, and really appreciate once again the Horseshoe having us.
Thank
Jeff
you, Horseshoe.
holding it down behind the bar.
Thank you, Jeff.
And really appreciate everybody today who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives in the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, the merch at downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the rest of their evening, and we will see you.
Have a pleasant evening.
Mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us